right. Hopefully those of you in YouTube land can see our panel of misfit photographers. And as we approach the holiday season, and Terry's popping in, so we get Terry's now in here. Hello, Terry.
Oh, hello.
And so we welcome everybody to the November 15th Photo Lounge General Discussion. And as most of you should know from the thumbnails, Michael Dries is here with us. He's to my left on the screen, and he's got a special presentation on his trip to Newfoundland that he did a while back. And we know you're going to enjoy it. I got to see a sneak peek of it. Gustavo is facilitating that with Michael, and Gustavo spent a lot of time, setting it up on his pretty much standard format that is being used when people do presentations, and work close with Michael. So we want to thank Gustavo for all the time he spent working with Michael. And of course, Michael being kind enough to come on, and we can finally see what Michael looks like, which is good. He's one of the better looking guys on the panel.
You might be stretching it there.
Well, I don't know. I wish I could stretch a different direction, to be honest with you, but it's not working too well. We're going to remind everybody when Mike does his presentation, we have been asking every presenter, what format they want to do in terms of answering questions, and Mike's going to be if you put QQQ as you should in the comments, I will put your comments on the bottom of the screen so Michael could see it. So while he's doing the presentation, he can interject and answer your question and keep the flow going where it's comfortable for him. Every presenter is going to be asked that question, how they want to handle the Q&A part, and he's going to do it as we go along. So the flow will be nice and smooth. And so before we get started, I guess we'll just go across the panel, let everybody say their hellos, and let you guys know what we've been up to. And then we'll go in the chat quick and acknowledge everybody that's here at this point. We got 14 people, including, everybody you see here on the screen. So Gustavo, we'll start with you, and we'll go across to the right and then down the next rows.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thank you. So today we got that special presentation from Mr. Mike Dries here. So I have been doing some photography here at home, so you will see some of that later, but nothing much apart from that. Everything fine on my end. So let's jump here to Mike to say hello quickly.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be with you all this evening. I'm very honored to be able to do a presentation for you, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah.
Chuck?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'm still working on my talking, but I think it's going to like it a lot better. I'll tell you what. So,
yeah. Well, that
sounds better.
Yeah.
Sounds better too.
Exactly.
Yep. So I planned on a little bit here today, and maybe throwing the best one. We're all that. All right. Go ahead.
You're getting ready to start kicking, and taking names.
Yeah. Yeah.
David.
Well, it's I've been clouded in for more than a week now, and I've been checking, and there's been no clear area within an hour and a half of me. But I've had people 2 hours away and 6 hours away that have been sending me photographs that they've taken of the night sky with their phone, just to make me feel good. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. But Gustavo didn't send me any, and he's farther than that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to reserve it for today.
Yeah. So I'll be able to make comments.
Oh, for sure.
Good.
You are the master. We always want to learn from you.
Okay, take it away, Randall.
Well, I don't get any aurora down here, and if it's coming in my area, it's usually cloudy. So the only thing I know that it's happening is that my TV signal gets affected. So, but I've been playing with the ZRs and then the Nikon. I sold all my Canon gear to get 3 lenses and another ZR, and I'm pretty happy right now.
All
I'm
right.
debating on 2 other systems and just stick with Nikon all the way.
Okay. Simplification, Randall.
Oh,
Good. Yep.
Mr. Roy. You're looking for Mr.
You're
Roy.
you're
My
looking for yourself,
ZR cage
Roy, you're
finally
right there.
arrived.
yeah, you got a small cage. Yeah.
Oh, that looks neat.
Got my cage.
Very
I
good.
like it.
Yeah.
Is that
That
the smaller
Camera took
small
2
rig?
days and the cage took 3 weeks.
Is that the small rig cage?
Yeah.
We will bring you later
It
on
is.
in the photo gear segment. We bring you on so that you can show the rig. Brother, do you have the rig already as well or not?
No, I just keep it in the studio, so I'm not going to. I got a third one that I've loaned out to 2 YouTube creators, and I'll probably get it back in 2 months.
Okay.
But yeah, that one I will put out. But
All right. Very good. Very good. Terry.
Well, I sent a couple of images to you just for what I was doing last week
I have it.
because of our friend up there
Exactly.
telling me what to do.
Okay.
And now, after I consume what he sent me,
Yes.
I'm waiting for the next part.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. You will see what you happen. He was. We were telling that now that we have a little bit of experience photographing Aurora, we will have questions for him. Right on the December 20th. That's very good. All right. So let me bring the presentation here.
I'll just say hello to a few people in the chat that have popped in. We're up to 17. Other than those on the panel, J Rod's here from Maryland. I'm sure you're going to Conowinga Dam or thinking about it if you haven't already, J Rod. And then we got Bob from Bob Our Photos. Bob and I got a chance to. We hadn't shot in weeks due to. I mean, I ended up with the flu. So I was out of commission it took me 2 weeks to get rid of it. So we finally got out and shot, and we had an interesting day where we had like 4, I believe he'll correct me if I'm wrong. I believe we had 4 eagles, one adult and 3 at different age groups that were juveniles. They kind of put on a nice show for us, although none of them got anything to eat. They literally, the young ones were literally hanging right above some birds in the water, and they didn't take any of them out. I mean, they were literally, 1 or 2 feet above their heads, and they didn't try to kill any of them. I was really, really shocked. We both were. And but we had a good time. It was nice getting out again. We've got Robert here from CT. Hello, Robert. Art Bear's here. Hello, Ted. Hope you're doing well. Hope you were able to get that Minolta camera. If things worked out with that, let me know. Albert's here. Good to see you, Albert. Hope you're well. Rakesh is here. Hello, Rakesh. And Tim is here, Mr. Mozman himself. He says, yeah, full house tonight on screen. Feel free to pop in, though. We can squeeze in more. Robert Varner's here. And let me make sure I don't miss anybody before we move forward here. Jim's here, real Nikon lover. He says he got his 3rd Godox IT30 Pro Flash. Arrived today, and so now he's going to have more fun. And let's see. Yeah, Robert's saying been cloudy the last few days in CT when the aurora was peaking. Supposedly, some people got a few shots of it down here in South Carolina, but I was not one of them. I was still sick at the time, so I didn't try to go out and do it. Oh, Sanjit's here.
Oh, that's good.
He's reporting for duty while strolling his daughter at the park this Sunday morning. Well, we could try to pin him down, Gustavo, right now. Y'all get one arm, you get the other. We're going to hold him down.
Exactly.
Hello, Sanjit. We're looking forward to your mystery presentation in January. Get in touch with Gustavo or myself and consider January 14th, Wednesday, and let us know if you want to do 12 noon Eastern Standard Time or 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time to make it a little bit easier for you. Let us know which of those two times you want to do, and that's what we will go with when we do future teaser trailers, and we'll put in the date and the time. And then we got, Small Rig underestimated how many ZRs will sell, I guess.
Yeah.
So Tim's saying he might pop in after he has
mine.
something to eat. So hopefully no one wants to see you eat on camera. Well, if you're eating something really good, yes, we don't want to see you eat because we're gonna get hungry.
Yeah, I'm having some issues here in my
So,
end.
okay, let me know where you want to go here.
Yeah, I'm having some issue here on my end, so I may have to. I'm trying to see whether I need to log out and in again. Let's. You guys keep there. I'm going to log out and come back. Okay.
All right. You want me to start on a few of the rumors that I have before we do the presentation?
You can start on that for sure.
I'll throw in a few rumors here, and then I know Gustavo has some on his list that I did not have on mine. What was kind of weird that happened was let me get it to where we're human here again on the screen. On Nikon, this is going from Nikon Rumors now. They were talking about 7 artisans having a new 10 millimeter ultra wide lens, non fisheye, APS-C for Nikon Z mount, and then they had a link that was supposed to go to B&H, and when I clicked on the link earlier in the week, nothing. It didn't go to B&H, and then I went to 7 Artisans website, and they didn't have any information on that lens being available in the Z mount. Now they do have it available, I believe, in the. I know they have it available in the Sony mount. They might have it available in the, the universal mount there that Panasonic uses and whatnot. But I didn't see anything on it being in the Nikon mount yet, so I don't know what's going on there. Mikey came out with an 85 f1.8 Mark II lens, full frame, for $229. That came out. Nikon Rumors has if you go on their website, they have a link to say 15% off of DxO products. So if you have an interest in that product line, software, go to their site and click on the link and save yourself some money. And the only other thing really was Godox came out with an i32 TTL mini flash with what they call the X5N trigger kit for Nikon. It's now on the B&H site. It's listed as coming soon. It's $98. It says guide number 59.1 feet, but they don't tell you what ISO that's based on, which I hate when they don't tell you that. It has vertical bounce and horizontal.
Probably at least 100.
You think it's ISO 100? That's what it normally is, but I hate the fact that they don't come
used
right
to be
out.
25.
What's that? Roy, I missed what you just said. What was that?
Wasn't me.
Oh,
Most of them are 100 rated.
yeah.
It's easier than used to be 25 back in the day.
Okay, that's what I missed when you said it used to be 25. So it's got bounce,
My
vertical
internet
bounce,
connection's playing up now.
horizontal, 1,000 to 30,000 per a second flash duration, recycle time about 1.5 seconds, and it has a modeling light as well. But I'm sure it's a pretty weak modeling light. It is not a very strong flash, but it's probably something that's adequate for doing indoor, shots of your family sitting around the Christmas tree type of shots. So you can check it out if you're interested in that. And I will skip the rumors for the other brands until later on. Gustavo, you want to put up your
Let me
page?
let me check the slide again, and then we can see here. Now I can move this one down. All right, so this is what so we have, as usual, divided the Nikon side from the other systems on YouTube. I think obviously there is rumors and announcement. On the rumor side, on the C9 II, there is several rumors saying that it's not coming in any announcement in 2025. Correct? We have been hoping that somewhere in the late November, early December, we get an announcement. Some few cameras will come to MPS people just before Christmas, and then of course the big release coming up there. There was this new firmware update for the Z52 and the C52. And I think Jeff will mention something about Nikon imaging cloud later on, or have a discussion. But it was made mostly to incorporate Nikon imaging clouds and some bug fixes for these two cameras. Chuck, you want to say something?
No, just
Agree?
we've been low wrong rider.
Lowrider. Yeah, indeed. So then on the the Nikon Q2 financials were released over the last 2 weeks, okay, and revenues and profits down despite the fact that the volume of cameras and everything increased, and so the discrepancy between the volume of the cameras and the revenue and profit is because of the currency exchange. The yen is becoming a little bit stronger compared with the dollar, and of course the impact on tariff. Right? There is a rumor. I don't know, Jeff, if you mentioned that there will be 70 to 200 f2.8 version 2, correct? But we haven't heard any specs about that. So I want to hear from the community here anything. Whether they will be interested on that lens. I don't own the version 1. Whether this will be, what characteristics it will have that will make people move from an excellent lens that exists today to this new version. And of course, we have been talking about the ZR. Apparently in this company or this retail storing in Japan called Yodobashi, the ZR is the number one seller, correct? So it went from to the top of the list, correct? So obviously extremely well received. Then we have that multitude of third-party lenses. You see here some announcement or Kickstarter from Silhouette anamorphic lenses, which these anamorphic lenses are intriguing because you have to process to decompress later on. So I don't know whether people have experience with those, but that's a Kickstarter. So those are typical cinema lenses to create a so-called cinemascope, correct? It was invented during film time to create the wide angle cinemascope for the theaters. Announcement from Viltrox, the 26, and of course the 85 that is now available for purchase, right? And then there is a bunch of other announcements, a lot of announcements in the wide angle, which is actually where Nikon doesn't seem to have on the Z mount their own wide angle lenses. I know that David has been waiting for that. Then I think you mentioned the Godox on accessories, the Godox flashes, Jeff, correct?
Yeah,
And also the triggers,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and then of course that new uh, microphone adapter for the ZR. So by the way, Randall, did you buy that Nikon special microphone that goes into the hot shoe? Or is that available or not?
Well, I'm going to wait on that. I've been using the DJI Mic 2, which is working good. It cancels sound out. I'm comparing I'm looking at the Tascam, and I don't see much videos on the Nikon one,
No.
the 10. But uh, I'm still, since I have two in the studio, I don't really need it. I use my Shure mic for that. But
Do you know what the price point is on it? On the Nikon one?
oh gosh, what was it?
About
300?
300 US.
300 US? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
want one, but it's too dear.
all right. Did you have one of those, Ray, or do you have Roy, or you have
I
one?
want one, but it's expensive.
Oh, okay, okay, for a microphone.
It takes me longer to talk myself into it.
Oh,
He'll he'll have it within 2 weeks.
yeah. So
Probably.
on the other systems
It's
on
32
YouTube,
bit.
other systems on YouTube, obviously, in the Canons is unveiled their Canon R6 III, correct? Which would be basically the counterpart from Canon to the C6 III, and you guys correct me if that is the case or not, but it has a 32.5 megapixel. It's the same as the C50, 12 frames per second shutter, and 40 frames per second mechanical. It has on this new kind of entry cap, not entry, but basically prosumer camera is the first one in Canada that has the CF Express card Type B, and of course there have been a lot of cover from the camera. It seems to be a very competent camera, and of course on the Sony side is all the rumors from the A7 V, which this is
Yeah.
a camera that hasn't been announced, and people are already disappointed about the camera. Right?
Yeah.
Just
I'll hit on that one later on near the end of the show. I got a little bit of information on that camera.
all right.
And we'll see where that goes. But supposedly, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, it's going to be around $3,000 is the anticipated price point for that.
Yeah. And then when we at the end of the show as well, so a couple of YouTube videos worth mentioning, correct? So one from Dwayne Patton, which is a bird photographer that did something that I haven't seen. We discuss that later. Then on photo pills, there is a couple of from photo pills that I encourage people, and of course today Steve Perry basically put a video about sorting. Calling photos in Lightroom, correct? But we will have a chance to discuss that. So that's what we have. Any questions you guys have seen on the rumors and news within the chat, Jeff?
No. Been watching it here. I think we're good. We've got 19 people in here, so I suppose we could get started whenever you're ready, and whenever Michael's ready with the pitch.
Yeah. So okay. So Michael. Please, guys, if you have any question for Michael, make sure that you put QQQ and Jeff and the rest of the panels will make sure that we alert him so that he can answer the question. He wants to maintain this conversational, and I think again it's another of our member of our community that we now have encouraged to come and participate. So going after the vision of Chuck that we wanted to have this community participating, coming into the show, and interacting. I mean, this is like a Saturday evening conversation, and that we have every other week. Right. So with that, I'm going to make the screen of the presentation bigger, and I'm going to ask Mike to introduce himself, tell us a little bit about him, and then we go into the presentation. All right, Mike.
All set?
Yeah, all set. Take it away, sir.
All right. Well, first of all, just want to give my thanks and appreciation for the invitation to talk about my photography workshop experience in Newfoundland, and also wanted to thank Gustavo for really putting in a lot of work and getting these slides all organized for me. So definitely want to give him a shout out. So I think we can probably go to the first slide then, Gustavo, the one after this. There we go. All right. So just to set things up, this was a puffins, gannet, and seabirds photography workshop, and it was back in July. It was a 5-day trip. Our hub for the trip was St. John's, which is the capital of Newfoundland. I think you can see it on the map there. It's right in the middle right of the map, hanging out there in the North Atlantic. And that's considered a city, but I don't know, my experience in the United States, I would probably consider that a large town. It's a real beautiful city though. And that's kind of where everything we kind of grouped together and started to get organized for the trip. So I guess one of the reasons why that I took the trip, I had never saw a seabird prior to this trip. Very intrigued by them. You see all these beautiful images of puffins and gannets on Instagram and Facebook. And I just thought, man, that would be an incredible experience to be able to photograph these birds. And actually the workshop itself, I actually knew the person running the workshop, Ray Hennessy. We'll talk a little bit about him later on. I had met Ray a couple times in Florida. We did a couple outings down there with doing some bird photography. So I knew Ray really well. I knew he was an incredible photographer, really good teacher. So I committed to the workshop. And so one of the first steps was figuring out how I was going to get there, because it's not exactly easy to get to Newfoundland. And I kind of knew right off the bat that I wasn't going to drive because all the transportation was set up for us. So I figured the best way to get there would be to fly. So I live in Pennsylvania most of the year. So I thought it would be fairly easy to get a flight from somewhere in Pennsylvania up to St. John's. It turns out there was no direct flights. So then I did a little research, and believe it or not, you could get a direct flight from Orlando, Florida. And since my wife and I spend our winters down there, we're usually down there about 2 or 3 months, and we have a little apartment down there. And so I said to my wife, I really don't want to have a connector flight. I never traveled before with photography gear, so I was a little nervous about that right from the start. So I said, let's go down to Florida and I'll fly up from there. So that's what I ended up doing. And a couple things that I think I can kind of share with you that kind of worked well for me, or things that maybe didn't work well. I don't know if any of you have traveled with a lot of camera gear. With wildlife photography, you're always bringing big lenses, so that kind of adds to the difficulties of it. So one of the things that I was trying to do was minimize my gear as much as I could. I really didn't want to have any checked baggage, because Orlando Airport is a nightmare probably one of the busiest airports on the East Coast. So anyway, I figured I'd get all my gear into my backpack, which I knew would fit the requirements for carry-on. And then I actually took for my personal item, I took a 13x9 duffel bag. And I was actually able to get all my clothing for the trip in that one little bag, believe it or not. I was kind of minimalizing as much as I could. Actually took some of the newer shirts that are out. They're like microbial, and you don't sweat and stink in them like you do regular cotton shirts. So I actually invested in a couple of them. And that was kind of my philosophy. I just took a couple shirts, a good pair of outdoor pants that were kind of water repellent, and plenty of socks and underwear. And that was about it. So that worked out well. And one of the things I'd like to share, a little tip that I learned from somebody else, is that I actually upgraded my seat to exit row seating. And that cost me like $60 each way to do that. But what it does actually gives you more leg room for one thing, but it also allows you to be in the first group of people that board the plane. So there's no stress of worrying about, am I going to be able to put my bag up in the, up in the racks, up in the overhead section. So that was my paranoia, was worrying about, having to check my bag with like $25,000 worth of gear. So that's just a little tip for you there. If you do travel with a lot of gear, that might be worth looking into. So getting to the trip itself, the itinerary.
Let me have a question here.
Yeah.
What type of which airline was the one that was flying from Orlando to?
From Orlando? Yeah, it was WestJet, which it's actually a subsidiary of which U.S. airline? I'm trying to think. I think it was Delta.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a partnership they have with them. And I guess the reason that there's direct flights from Orlando up to St. John's, which seems kind of crazy, is because of Disney World. People from Newfoundland, I guess, travel to Orlando quite a bit to go to Disney World. So.
Well, that sounds fun. And did you go by yourself, or did you go with your wife?
Actually, this was a solo trip. Okay. So, so a lot of new first time things for me. I actually got I got an Uber from our place to Orlando, because driving into the Orlando airport is a little nerve-wracking. So I didn't want to put her through that. No. So I was by myself. You know what though? I'm glad you brought that up, Gustavo. One of the things that you could do if you have a spouse or some friends that want to make the trip with you, but are not into wildlife photography, you could have them spend some time in St. John's while you're off, photographing birds and other things. Because there's enough to do in St. John's. There's a good Uber network there too to get around, taxis and things like that. And there's a lot to see in St. John's. I didn't really get a chance to do a lot. I got there like a day early, and I did the hike from up on top of Signal Hill down to the harbor. That was incredible. But that's really all I got to do. There's a lot more going on there. So that's an option. If you have somebody with you that is not into photography, they could do some sightseeing in St. John's.
All right. So worthwhile going just for that as well. And here you mentioned that you went July 9 to July 13. So that's the middle of the nesting season, correct?
Yeah, they're definitely starting to nest. All the courtship behavior is going on.
Excellent.
So that's kind of the best time to go, is in that, probably middle of June to August is kind of your your best time for the seabirds up there.
And the weather, temperature-wise, was reasonable, correct?
Oh, I'll tell you what, coming from Florida where it was, 85, 90 degrees and humid in July, it was probably, I'm going to say it, the highest temperature it got up there was probably in the low 70s.
Yeah.
When we were going out in the first thing in the morning,
Yes.
we had some mornings where we were down in the low 40s. So it kind of went from the low 40s up to the low 70s. It was kind of our range.
So for
perfect weather.
kind of Pennsylvania springtime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right.
Yeah. So I'll kind of just give you the brief itinerary here. So we basically split up our time between two locations. One is the first place was to see the puffin viewing site in Elliston, which is on the Bonavista Peninsula. If you see it on the map there, it's kind of in the center off to the right, just jutting out into the North Atlantic there. And our second site was all the way down near the bottom there at Cape St. Mary's Ecological Reserve, which is near St. Bride's. That's a very sparsely populated area there. Just stunningly beautiful, though. So it was basically set up where we had 4 sessions at each site, 2 mornings and 2 evenings at each site. And basically, the routine was, because of it being like high summer, and you're also on I think it's the Atlantic time zone. So sunrise comes super early. So we were up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning to get out there in the, the good light. And we'd shoot till about mid-morning and go get something to eat, go back and, catch up on a little sleep, download images, all that good stuff. And go back out in the evening. And that was, probably from like 6 to 9. So until we got back and in bed, I mean, we were kind of burning candles at both ends. So getting about 4 or 5 hours of sleep per night. But, for a couple of days, it was certainly doable. And at each location, we had about a mile to hike into the site. So it wasn't very far to walk.
So from the hotel to the site place, this guy has like a van all together went to
yeah. We actually had two vehicles.
Okay.
One was a van, and we had all our transportation was we just got up in the morning and everything was organized and ready to go. So we stayed at the 2 hotels that we stayed at were probably only about 20 minutes, half an hour from the shooting location. So it wasn't too bad. Yeah, wasn't too bad at all. Just if anybody's interested in like later on, like where I stayed, and I can give you some recommendations. Both places we stayed, I would highly recommend.
Right.
We had our own room, and so we had our own bathroom and our own little kitchenettes in each place that we stayed at. So that was awesome. If you want to flip to the next slide there, Gustavo.
Yeah. Sorry, I clicked the wrong.
That's all right.
Yeah.
There we go. So our workshop leaders were Ray Hennessy and Brad James, and there was 5 participants. The maximum number was 6 that they'll take with. I guess somebody had a medical issue and couldn't make the trip, so that's why we only had 5. And then Ray's fiance. So we had only 8 people. That was our group. A little bit about Ray. Just an incredible photographer. If you're into wildlife photography, check out his website, which is up there now on the slide, rayhennessy.com. Ray's been doing, actually, he makes his living off wildlife photography full time. He's been doing it for, I think, full time for at least 15 years now.
Mm.
He used to be a wedding photographer. The guy just knows photography inside and out. He's great at editing, giving you tips as far as, processing your images, but great in the field. And Brad, incredible photographer as well. He's actually a native of the area. He lives right around St. John's. So he knows the area. He knows the way the light comes in at different times. So it's super awesome having him there. And the two leaders were very synergistic because Ray kind of specializes on, he's really known for his small and frame environmental portraits of birds. And Brad is kind of the opposite. Brad does a lot more portrait work, and he's like, we call him the bokeh king. Yeah. He just knows bokeh and light and all the complexities of it really well. So they were two super teachers to have out there, and they gave us a lot of individual time. They kind of would let you do what you wanted to do, but there was times where they would call and say, hey, there's some great light over here, guys, or there's this bird's over here. It's a good opportunity. So it was kind of flexible in that way. So anyway, the photo equipment that I narrowed it down to, like I said, I knew I had to get it all into one backpack, and you guys kind of know the dilemma of making gear choices sometimes, but I ended up taking the two Nikon Z8 bodies. I had the Nikon 600 millimeter PF for my telephoto, and then I had the 100 to 400 to fill that gap in there, lower telephoto focal lengths. And I also, Ray told me, bring a wide angle. So I took I have the 17 to 28, 2.8. So I brought that, and I also brought my 1.4 teleconverter. So this was my first experience with a group workshop. I never did one prior to this. Okay. So I didn't know how it was going to go. I don't know about you guys, but I spend probably about 95% of the time I'm going out solo.
Yes,
sometimes I might have one other person with me, but the majority of the time I'm by myself. So I was kind of a little nervous, like, how am I gonna, how's it gonna work? The dynamics of the group, will I get along with everybody? But those were all misgivings that did not come to fruition. Actually, I'll kind of talk about that at the end, but the group aspect of it really surprised me. It was a really positive aspect of it that I wasn't really anticipating. So, okay, we can go to the next one, Gustavo.
Exactly. So excellent.
All right. So this was one of the first, I guess this is my first keeper image that I took of a Atlantic puffin. We had got to the site, and Ray and I had a discussion the previous day, and I said, well, I'd really like to try to get some wide angle images of the puffins showing, the landscape. So when we got out there was a lot of birds coming in from the sea stacks and landing where that bird's sitting is right on the edge of the mainland area, and that's kind of where we were shooting from. So anyway, Ray said, hey, there's a lot of birds that are coming in, flying into that little strip there. And so he said, do you want to go out and try for some wide angle stuff? And I was a little hesitant because I'm like, oh, wow, I don't even have any good, close in portraits yet. So I don't really know if I want to go out and experiment with wide angle. But then I thought, you know what? That's what he's really good at, and let's do it. So we kind of army crawled out. And one thing about puffins, particularly like in this colony, they are so acclimated, or they're so trusting. They really don't have a huge fear of humans. They're very comfortable. as long as you don't like rush out there all at once, as long as you take it like slow and easy. So it ends up, believe it or not, this was taken at, let me see, 23 millimeters. I've never taken a bird at that wide of an angle, focal length before, but it's amazing how close you have to get to use a wide angle on these birds. They're literally only, some of the birds were only, I'd say maybe 2 feet away from us. And some would even approach a little bit closer. You know, they're very curious about what we were doing. So that was a great experience.
So what about getting close to so close to the edge of the cliff here? Because that must have been nerve wracking.
Can I make a question?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I kind of have a fear of heights, and
Join the club.
but actually, the site we were at here at Bonavista, this was nothing compared to where we would go next.
Can I make a question?
Yeah.
How much you pay the puffin to stay there?
Well, I didn't quite catch that.
How much you pay the puffin to stay there?
I think he only charged me like $50, so it was a pretty good deal.
Terry has I don't know if you know, Mike, but Terry has some great photo opportunities and great photos also from his trip to Iceland.
Yeah. I think that
You had to give the puffin like a can of sardines for in the pose for you, right?
Yeah.
But the image is beautiful. I love that environmental portrait. And indeed, yeah, the wide angle nature. I mean, if you're going to bring the environment, I mean, this is almost like a landscape photo with a puffin, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I kind of like the way the clouds are really interesting out there too. So if it would have been just like a flat blue sky, it might not have looked as
exactly
as compelling. And one of the things too that I learned when you're doing the wide angle type photography, which Ray was telling me, he goes, "Hey, be careful. You don't want the head too far down that it's going to intersect with the horizon." Exactly. And he also was telling me, really pay attention to where your bird is in regards to the sea stacks out there. Don't have that intersecting, give it some space. So those are things like when you're doing a portrait, you don't always have to pay attention to those details quite as much, but for the wide angle, it's a lot harder than it looks, because I had quite a few images, of course, that I, deleted that, for some reason just didn't look right, didn't feel right. But when you get it right, though, it's really it is really a great approach to doing birds and wildlife.
You have to balance the composition. You got other elements in there that you have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really a balancing act. Yeah,
you want a space here, correct? You want a space here, and you don't want the horizon to intercept it, let's say, there, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So indeed, that is the case here.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I love these images. I mean, and indeed, and you, I mean, to get this image, you must have been maybe a meter, 3 feet away from the bird or closer, correct?
Yeah, I'd say it was probably, between that 2 and 3 foot range.
Yeah.
In there somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, very close.
And then, of course, you have to keep your high shutter speed, contrary to what you normally have to do for landscape, just because they are moving, correct? You have many head positions, correct, for these birds. So.
Yeah, and just prior to this shot, I didn't include that, but I had a couple images of a group coming in, landing. So I was kind of starting to do a few in-flight shots as well. So that's why I kind of, 3200's a little more than I needed there, but the ISO was pretty low. So
ISO 720 from that.
Yeah.
For this,
I had plenty of light there to work with. Yeah. So, okay, you can move to the next one, Gustavo. All right. So this is I believe this is the next morning when we went out. And this is like pre-dawn. The sun hadn't come up yet. And we were blessed with some incredible light this whole trip. You can just see those beautiful pink gradients there.
Yeah.
So you can't really go wrong there with, you know, it's just beautiful light. So you have a beautiful subject, beautiful light, and, you know, everything just kind of clicks together.
Yeah. And again, you managed to get another time. Okay, the horizon here is not that prominent, but it's above the head, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you left. It's not a complete silhouette, but you have sufficient light that you can see some element of the foreground and particularly on the puffing. So no, I love the colors of this one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, just beautiful light. Beautiful light. Yeah, and that was with the 600 PF. That was my most used lens on the trip.
Yes.
And I don't have it anymore. And I'll get to that in a
Oh,
little bit. All right, I guess we can move to the next one, Gustavo. So talking about silhouettes.
yes.
So as the light started to come up, now, you know, it gave us the opportunity to play with silhouettes and to get some really cool bokeh effects where the sun was kind of hitting the water and bouncing up. So this is one of my favorite ones. I have a couple that are horizontal, but I like the vertical one because I could get more of that light in. And I think this makes it look a little more dynamic.
Yeah. And you have that leading line going into the silhouette of the puffing.
Yeah. And, you know, and the thing there is you don't really work, you're kind of exposed for those highlights and just let, you know, puffins have this such distinctive shape
Exactly.
that you know that's a puffin. So you don't really, you can just let that go shadow, go dark, and
Yeah.
just be the outline. And it's a very distinctive outline. And I just put a little bit of the cliff in there too to kind of, you know, ground it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And,
I like silhouettes though. They're fun to play with.
yeah. And the bokeh was fantastic, correct? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. That 600 really did produce some nice bokeh. So I was really pleased with that.
Okay.
All right, so we can go to the next one, Gustavo. All
Oh,
right, so here are the lights coming up a little bit more, and so I just let a little bit more detail come into the bird there. I kind of balance the exposure a little bit, and you know, just playing with that bokeh a little bit more and so all these are like backlit shots, you know, shooting right out, you know, into the sun, which, you know, I think that's become my favorite form of lighting. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. No, I love the
And
bokeh. And very artistic, as I was saying, good bird photography and very artistic at the same time.
yeah, and it was kind of neat. There was these little flowers growing there along the cliff. I'm not sure quite what they were, but well, we'll see a little bit more of them coming up here too. But that kind of was nice to put into the composition as well.
Yeah.
I think I've seen some of those plants in my salad.
Let
Let me ask you a question as well, because
Yeah.
Terry can tell you as well in Iceland, photographing sometimes the puffins. There are some locations that can get very busy, correct?
Mhm.
I think that was not the case here in Newfoundland, correct? That you were probably that group of yours of the 8 people there, and you have plenty of space to move around and get the right composition, right?
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. I'm used to, you know, a lot of places here in the United States like Yellowstone,
Yes.
and there's so many other photographers there and tourists. it was not the case up. I mean, the puffin colony, there was a fair amount of people there, but there was so many birds flying onto the mainland from the sea stacks, and they were in different groups, and you were kind of spread out over, I'd say, I'm going to say like maybe 400 yards or so. So there was plenty of room that you could work with a group of birds, and not everyone was photographing like one bird that was just showing up on its own. There was like different groups of birds always coming in and out. So there was plenty of opportunities. And the other site that we were at were the gannet colony.
Yes.
Believe it or not, we went out, our group of 8, we went out there. We were there at first light in the morning, and we kept shooting, and there was nobody there. I mean, I think it was like 9 o'clock until somebody else came.
Wow.
So we had the whole place to ourselves for like 3 hours. It was pretty neat. But now that location is a little more remote. There's only like 1 or 2 hotels and like 1 restaurant, and there's not a lot of towns, or it's pretty remote out there. So that might lead to it. Like if you were going there, you were meaning to go there. Like it wasn't just like a random thing. Oh, we're here. Let's go to the Cape St. Mary's. But so you had to like make a plan to go there, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, definitely crowded conditions were not a problem on this trip at all.
Yeah.
So I guess we can go to the next one. All right. There we have the classic angel wing shot here of a puffin. Now this is a shot that I almost messed up. I had the 600 on, and I noticed this bird every once in a while. He would do, the wing beat. So I jacked my shutter speed up to 1/3200th of a second, and I was kind of ready for him. So he started to go into a wing flap, and one of the things I miscalculated, I was too close for 600 millimeters, and I got I was, laying on the shutter 20 frames a second, blasting away because I wanted to make sure I got something. And when he was done, I looked at the back of my camera and I'm like, oh crap, clip the wings.
So you clipped off all the wings.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was when he had them angled straight out. But I got a couple of images where he's up in like this angel wing position where I was okay. But I almost blew that, and I would have been better having there's a case where the 100 to 400 would have been better, because I could have, just had a little bit of a safety margin. Yeah. But yeah, it turned out great though. And I don't know if I'll just say that I planned on this, but I didn't know if I did or not. But getting a little bit of that, there was a little bit of vegetation there, so I created some foreground blur there too. So I think that helps it out too.
Yeah. So Terry, let me do something here on the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing and reshare, because I want to do something. I realize here that you guys are seeing the grid, so I'm going to try to eliminate that grid for a second. So you guys can take the conversation where I
All right.
share. If any of the panelists have some questions, this is the time, and also to let.
Did you have any problem with the moisture in the mornings? When the lens might fog up or anything like that?
No, we really didn't. There was a couple mornings where there was a lot of fog and mist and things like that, but that burned off fairly early, and really didn't have any condensation on the lens or anything. But I have had that happen where I think I was somewhere down close to you, Jeff. I think I was in Georgia.
Okay.
Jekyll Island. I was at Jekyll Island, and my wife and I stopped there on the way back from Florida, and I had my my camera and lens inside, and we were running the air conditioner. And the next morning I went out, photograph at sunrise, and my lens glass was completely fogged up. And because it was going from that really cool environment out into that super hot, humid environment. So yeah, that's definitely something you got to keep your eyes on, though, for sure. So this is these puffins are awesome. The way I don't know if this was a courtship behavior or a territorial dispute, or why they were doing that, but they interact with one another a lot. And I'm a photographer. I love interaction shots. I'm just a sucker for any type of thing like this. So just kind of this one bird, I think the bird on the right had landed, and the other bird came right over to him, and they just started locking their beaks together. And it was just a really cool moment to be able to capture that. Turns out, though, that this photo was the most expensive one I took the whole trip, though, because it's actually with the 400 millimeter 2.8, the TC lens.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Ray's fiance was using it at the time, and I was asking them some questions about it. There was another gentleman that on the trip that had it, and so Emily, she said to me, "Hey, Mike, do you want to try the 400 out for a little bit?"
And that's why the 600 went away, isn't it?
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I was expecting it to be a lot heavier and bulky, and it is a beast, but it's a lot more manageable than I had thought. And the thing that I like about it, because I'm always stuck, I don't know how you guys are, Gustavo and Jeff, I know you guys do a lot of birds, but I'm usually trying to figure out, do I want 400 or do I want 600 today? So I basically used to just make a decision. I had the 400 4.5, the 600, and then I had the 800 PF as well.
Yeah.
But the way I justified it, I came home from this trip and I was like, man, that 2.8, I'm always out there in the early morning or late in the evening and, really pushing the boundaries of my other lenses with those, smaller apertures. So I kind of justified it. I said, well, this lens will actually be 3 lenses in one, because you have the 400 2.8, you flip that switch to flip in to get to 560 f4.
Yes.
That is amazing, having that. Yeah. And then you can throw on a 1.4 external teleconverter and flip in the internal 1.4, and then you're out to 800 almost.
Yes.
Or you could use the 2 times without the internal kicked in. So I haven't really played with that a lot, but essentially my reasoning was I'm getting 3 lenses in one. So
you're going to have to send me a copy of your justification approach so that I can try that out on my wife. And then if you don't see me on the show anymore, you'll know that it didn't go well.
Yeah, but no, I mean, obviously the 400 2.8 is a fantastic lens, but I tell you, I still love that 600 PF because exactly for the reason that you took it. It is because it's easy to travel with, right?
It is, yeah. I still have regrets. I don't have any regrets buying the 400, but I wish I could have kept the 600. But I was like, if I'm going to make this big of an investment, I need to trade those 3 other lenses in. So that's what I ended up doing.
Always compromises because we have to do it.
Yeah.
But congratulations on that purchase, and obviously trying it out here. I mean, this is a fantastic image. There is the 400 TC and the 600 TC. Those are probably the best lenses they produce on the Z mount, right?
Oh yeah,
And this
yeah,
is a perfect
definitely.
example of putting the subjects in the middle of the frame and saying the heck with the rule of thirds, because sometimes it makes a lot more sense to put them in the middle of the frame.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yep. Yeah, and I did a little. Most of these images, I did very little cropping. This one, I did a little bit. There was some things out to the right that really weren't adding to it too much. So that's what I did. Yeah, I kind of put all the action like right into the center, just to draw your eye right in there.
Yep.
So, yeah, we can move to the next one then, Gustavo. Well, speaking of those flowers, what's more cute than a puffin picking a flower? And I'm not sure why they were doing this. I don't know if they they eat mostly fish, so I'm not quite sure what they were doing. If it's part of the, sometimes they walk around with it and
Pass
stuff,
it around, give it to the female as a gift, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, because they nest in burrows, correct? So they don't build a nest. Yeah, so,
Yeah, they're out on those sea stacks.
exactly. Oh, but it doesn't matter. It makes for a very good photo for sure.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we can
Yeah.
move to the next one, Gustavo, when you're ready.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to show this image. Besides all the great opportunities for seabirds, that trip was so long. I don't know if this was in the morning or the evening when we were walking back to the parking lot, but I saw this beautiful light out there, this really neat house, and somebody in the group said, "Hey, somebody's got to take a picture of that," and I had my 17 to 28, so I just grabbed the shot. I did not have a tripod with me, so I just had to shoot it the best I could. So that would be the other thing I kind of wanted to bring up. If you're not a bird photographer, wildlife photographer, if you're into landscapes and seascapes, you'd absolutely love the area. So it's really conducive for that type of photography as well.
Wow. No,
Great
definitely.
scenery. Yeah. And there's also, I don't know, for some reason, this Elliston area, it's known, believe it or not, it has the highest concentration of ground cellars or root cellars in Canada, I guess. So there's all these little like root cellars, ground cellars in the area that people would, my grandparents actually had one. So it was like before refrigeration, they're kind of dug out so you could put food in there that would keep it at a constant temperature. So if you're into that, that's the place to be.
Wow.
So, all right, we can move to the next one. So, okay. So now we're switching locations here. So this is the Cape St. Mary's Ecological Reserve, it's called, and it's near a little town called St. Bride's. So this in the foreground that's all gannets, the northern gannets on that rock. That's called Bird Rock. And they estimate that there's probably at times a couple thousand birds on that rock. And then there's another one that you can't see that's over to the right a little bit. But what they would do, they would come in and land on the rock, and then they'd fly back along that cliff wall, and then sometimes like right in front of you in the foreground, and then loop around out to the sea, fish out there in the ocean. So that's kind of a vantage point to look out over what we were seeing from where we were shooting. Now, this is an area, Jeff, that would have made you very nervous. We had kind of
I'm nervous sitting here looking at the picture. Never mind.
Well, when you see the next slide, it'll be even worse. I think somebody told me it was like 300 feet from the top of the cliff down to the bottom. And this is crazy. There was one guy in our group. He was a younger guy. He was pretty bold. Now, what I would do, I kind of tuck myself in around some rocks, and I'd stay maybe 10 or 15 feet from the edge, because if I was too close to the edge, I'd probably like freak out.
Oh my
But this
God.
one guy, he was like, and Ray also has no fear. They were kind of climbing down on the cliff face, like there's like these little ledges that you could like get yourself positioned on. So they were like walking, kind of making their way onto these little ledges and shooting from there to get a different perspective. But I'm like, I'm good where I'm at. I'll stay up on the
Yeah.
solid
Yeah,
ground.
you did the right thing. You did the right thing.
Oh my God.
So we'll move to the next one. This will really show you kind of what it looks like. So the birds that you're seeing there, this is another rock in the opposite direction. These are common murres, M-U-R-R-E. So this was kind of an experimental shot that Ray was inviting all of us to try this. He was like the only one with a tripod. So this required a tripod, and we were using the variable neutral density filter that you could like set it for different strengths. Yeah. And I don't know what strength we had on, but we were all coming out to the rock with our gear and, kind of composing this rock. And there was a lot of wind and wave action going on.
Wow.
So Ray was kind of telling us, like, set up your camera to get like a 3 to 5 second exposure to kind of like really kind of like show the motion of the waves hitting the rocks, crashing over the rocks. And I was really kind of amazed that there's some birds in the shot that are definitely blurry. There's some movement, but it's incredible that at 3 seconds, there's still some birds that are kind of sharp on that rock.
Yeah. That looks beautiful for sure. Terry, you will love this photo. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful indeed.
Well, actually, so here's the other part of this story.
Well, Sanjit is enjoying this image.
Oh, right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the comment. Appreciate it.
Let me ask you a technical question here.
Yeah.
Were all these, obviously with all cliff and moving, carefully not to the edge, but as much as, were you working with tripods or mostly handheld?
Almost entirely handheld. One of the participants did have a tripod. I think she was shooting an older 300 2.8, and it was a pretty heavy beast. So she was using a tripod, but everybody else in the group was shooting handheld for the entire time, except this setup here.
3 seconds for a handheld.
No, this was on the tripod, Gustavo. Yeah. This is a case where we all kind of shared the one tripod together. Everybody that wanted to do it, but it was funny. Ray came up to me and he asked me. He goes, "Hey, do you want to try one of these slow shutter speeds on the cliff face?" So you had to literally walk out right to the edge.
Ooh.
And I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this, guys. And so Brad said to me, he goes, okay. He goes, I'll be on the one side of you. Ray will be on the other. He goes, we will not let anything happen to you. You're good. And I'm like,
I would have laid down.
So
I would have passed out.
So
I'd be laying down too, but it wouldn't look pretty.
There was a lot going on in my head. I'm like, I really want to do this. And I'm like, damn it. This is going to be the only time I might be able to do this. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. But boy, and then they were telling me, just concentrate on your camera settings. Just don't think about where you are. So I that's what I did. I just I think I probably took about maybe a half dozen images. And then I saw this one and one or two of the other ones looked pretty good. And I'm like, I think I'm good, guys. I'm going back to safer ground here.
And for sure, it's such a dynamic photo, correct? With all the
yeah.
movement in the sea. So, no, fantastic capture. I love it.
Yeah, and
I think you should get like a warning in your camera that says you are closer to the edge than you think
yeah,
you are.
there you go. Closer than it appears, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is one of the things that I think, being on a workshop, I wouldn't have ever tried this shot on my own.
Oh, no, for sure.
And it's one of those things that, okay, I see the results. So if I get a chance to use water again like this, and I have a bird that's gonna, remain relatively stationary, it's something that I'll try again.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what I love about the workshop. That experience, you're learning to see things in different ways, and also to try some things that I think we all kind of get in our groove of what we like to do.
Exactly.
And we probably should experiment more, but we really don't. So this was really there was really a lot of things that I took away from the experience.
Beautiful.
So okay, we can move to the next one, Gustavo. And here is the Northern Gannet coming right in hot here.
Wow.
That's what I call the poop shot. You're lucky you didn't get poop on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I believe it or not, this took me, well, it's kind of easy to believe. There was so many shots. I wanted one good landing shot because these birds were constantly coming in to that rock to land. But there was a couple, well, the main problem was there was always it was very chaotic. There was always, you would get some really nice flight shots, but then there'd be another bird, at a bad spot. So it was hard to get one isolated from the group. And this is one case where I got lucky. I saw this one coming in and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of open space. And so I just got it composed and just started, bursting away. And this is the one that I picked. I like the way in this one, the feet, the way they're positioned, you can kind of see that they have that neat little yellow lines on the feet.
Yes.
And it kind of really makes them look goofy, doesn't it? They're a very big, graceful flying bird, but when they land, they're so goofy looking. And there's good eye contact there too. He's kind of looking right up at the camera. So yeah, it worked out really well. That was with the 600 as well.
Yes. No, fantastic photos. Definitely one that I would like to take for sure.
And believe me, there's a lot of flight shots that got deleted.
Gustavo, I thought I saw this same image on your website. You were selling it.
And going back to what you were saying, Mike, is that when you have this dynamic situation, Kurt, you have that rock with all these birds leaving and coming.
Yeah,
it's confusing, correct? It's you get distracted, so you have to basically settle your mind and say, "This is what I'm going to do now," and ignore everything else because otherwise you get overwhelmed. Correct?
That is so well said, Gustavo. That's when you first get out there, it is like sensory overload.
Exactly.
And like you said, you're seeing all these opportunities. Oh, I could try for this. Oh, I could do that. And that's what Ray and Brad were stressing to us. They were like, okay, concentrate. Like if you want to get an in-flight shot, concentrate on that just don't go from one thing to another. Just try to stay in one lane for a little while and then, move to something else. But yeah, you're right. It was, so much going on. And, sometimes when I go out here in Pennsylvania, now Florida is a completely different story, but I might only get a few opportunities on a walk. Like out on a typical morning, there might only be a couple decent opportunities to work with a subject. And here it's exactly the opposite. You're going to have a lot of opportunities. So that was a good thing. If you mess up at some point, it's not like you're not going to get another chance to try that scenario again. You're going to get another chance. It's just so much activity. Yeah. So that was one of the really good things about it. Oh, okay, that's good. My ex-girlfriend, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, okay, we can move to the next one then, Gustavo, when you're ready.
Click the wrong thing again. All right. And I had to move. All right.
All right. So,
Yeah.
pair of gannets here, a little courtship. This is one of the things that they do quite a bit is they put their beaks together and they'll kind of like bob their heads around, stuff like that. You can kind of see this is kind of like two birds that were on the edge of the colony a little bit, because that rock that, I showed earlier, and like Gustavo was saying, there's so much activity there. So I kind of saw these two start to, interact with one another on the edge of the colony. And I'm like, okay, this is a good chance to isolate them.
Yeah.
And I used a little bit of negative exposure comp. I kind of wanted everything in the back to kind of go darker, be in the shadows. Now, full confession, there was a little bit of on the left and the right of this image, there was two other birds, like bird parts, kind of extending into the frame. So believe it or not, I worked and, it's actually amazing how easily it works now. I use the generative remove tool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just got rid
Just
of
to
it.
clean that up a little bit. And, it's not a photo I could enter in a contest because I've, removed something, used that tool, but I just wanted two of these birds isolated together and kind of to tell that story of the courtship ritual. So yeah. So I just wanted to lay that out there.
I just love the the fine line detail in the face.
Yeah.
The lines, whether it be on the beak or going from the top of the bill down, underneath the eye and on the side of the face. I mean, those lines are just so sharp and very thin looking and extremely detailed. It looks like something that someone would paint. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
wow. Yeah.
Really, 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 the detail there on the head area is just beautiful. The lines in there are gorgeous.
And Mike, also the fact that I know you guys haven't noticed, but he's using a lot of exposure compensation, correct, up and down. You got excellent light, correct, in all these photos because there was no contrasting light. Of course, you did a lot of backlighting and stuff with the puffings, with the planting puffing. But on the white birds, correct, you had to expose for the birds.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to be on that dial on the compensation to get it properly. And you did it excellent for what I see here.
Yeah, you're right. It's really easy to, blow the highlights if the light's real harsh.
Exactly. For what Jeff was saying, you get an idea of the texture in the white plumage and particularly that transition between that kind of buff, creamy color into the white, the back of the head. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
This is where Steve Perry would tell everybody too, and a lot of people don't even remember they have it in their cameras, is you got that metering mode that protects highlights.
Oh, the highlight weighted.
And you can use the highlight metering, and basically what that does is effectively what you did. It will underexpose the rest of your image so that your highlights don't get blown out.
Yes.
And then you just, which is really the same thing you just did using your exposure compensation, and then you decide how you want it to look when you're doing it in post. And because like you could be, I like how you did it. Somebody else may say, okay, I'm going to bring up the shadows a little more so I see a little more detail in the rocks that are around them in the foreground. But I like how you did it. But if you blow the highlights, you're screwed. And
exactly.
And that's the most important thing, is preserve those highlights, and then you worry about the shadows and the midtones afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, great point, Jeff. Yep.
I prefer the way that Mike did it here.
Yes,
Correct?
I do
Because
too.
you are more in control, and sometimes, as Steve Perry also recommended, the highlight protection. Correct. In the case, using the highlight protection would have been good because your subject is the one that is white. But if you have something, let's say a reflection of something in the background, and the camera is trying to protect, it may not be the best thing to do. So being controlled,
Right.
like was here, was the right thing.
Yeah, I've got to use that. That I got to remember that metering mode's there because, like down in Florida, doing those roseate spoonbills, that's
Oh yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
bird that you definitely need to protect those highlights on. So yeah, that's a good point, Jeff.
Well, usually if you hit once you hit like on the East Coast or well, down where I am, when you hit 9 o'clock in the morning, any bird that's white, like an egret or whatever,
Yeah,
snowy egret or great egret or whatever, you're now pushing the limit to where you have to start doing what you did, go into the minus a third, minus a half, or more exposure compensation, because eventually you can't dial it down enough, and
yeah,
you
right.
dial it down too much, and then it's like just call it a day and
Yep, time to go
back
home.
another
Yep.
morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I intersect something about the two gannets?
Perry, say it again.
Can I say something about the two gannet shot?
Yes, of
Oh
course.
yeah, yeah.
My idea, first of all, don't apologize for the editing, because all the great photographers, they were doing it on the dark room, and they're doing it now on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody, doesn't
Yep.
matter what they say. Everybody, don't apologize. You have an excellent shot.
Oh, thank
My
you.
personal idea, the moment I saw your image, which I love as it is, I would have tried low key black and white.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Just play a
suggestion.
little bit.
Yeah,
I think you have because it's very nice photograph. It's very, very nice photograph.
yeah. That might look awesome in black and white. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. But the tones are there for that. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for
So
suggesting that.
definitely, Mike. The other thing I see I got your presentation also on the big screen is the other thing about this Garnet, which I'm sure you tried, but you didn't put on the slide back, is to photograph like a headshot because they have that beautiful blue color eyes, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
they're beautiful. All right, so this image is also great. I mean, it's so moody.
You're so bad.
So moody, correct? Because you have that, obviously, they are flying between the rocks, getting into
Yeah.
the mountain, and then so well exposed as well, correct? And the here you still see the ground, but the isolation, correct? It's of the bird.
Yeah, this was a really tricky situation. This was one of the scenarios that Brad pointed out to us. He said there was like this direct light coming in and hitting the one section of this cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very harsh direct light, but he was telling us start tracking a bird, and then when it gets into this area where the light's hitting, start hitting the shutter.
Yeah.
So that took a lot of trial and error. And we were, I think in this one, I was over 2 stops negative exposure on this.
Yeah.
Just to protect the highlights. And I don't know, I do a little high key photography, but I like my taste. I like the low key, high contrast stuff.
Yeah.
So whenever I can get a chance to get it, I'm all in. So
Beautiful.
this is one of those shots. And so, yeah, this one just happened to get it in the right spot too, that it's not really at a It's kind of like the one wing's on like a natural like notch in the rock there. So yeah, it just turned out pretty good. Sometimes you got to get lucky with the placement.
Definitely.
There's
You
a
know,
lot of deletes that didn't quite work out.
That's like they say, lucky favor the prefer, the prepare. Okay.
Yeah,
If you are prepared, luck is on your side.
That's right.
to kind of elaborate on a comment where Terry was going was, the great Ansel Adams, a lot of the criticism or some of the criticism that he got, where people would complain that they would basically say, no one could take no one is going to go. They could go to the same exact place that Ansel Adams went to take that shot, and they're never going to see that shot that's in his book or in his print. And that was true because he did a lot of darkroom manipulation to bring out the detail and stuff like that. So that what he showed in his images wasn't something that anybody was going to see with their naked eye when they went to the same place. And if they weren't skilled in the dark room and skilled with their camera, they didn't have a shot in hell of coming up with the same thing that he got.
Yeah.
That's why he said we don't take a photograph, we make it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
You used minus 2/3 exposure on most of these pictures. Do you usually do that, or
this one's actually
minus 2.3 stops.
Yeah, 2 1/3. That's pretty extreme, Randall. I usually don't go down that far. It was just this particular situation where all that direct light was kind of spotlighting that area on the cliff. And so to preserve all the detail in the bird, that was kind of necessary, or it would have just been really kind of ugly looking, real bright white and no detail. So it was just kind of really a very specialized situation. There's a lot of times though that if I see a situation where I can like kind of make the background go black, kind of create a minimalist type shot, that I'm usually like at -1, but yeah, -2 1/3 is pretty extreme.
Yeah, but again, you have a white bird, correct? So.
Yeah, that's the big problem. Yeah. All right, we can go to the next one, Gustavo. And this was kind of the same thing going on here. This is another species. This is the black-legged kittiwake.
Yes.
They look like glorified seagulls for the most part. Of all the birds, now the puffins are little rockets, but these kittiwakes are super fast, erratic flyers. So I don't know how many shots I missed of them until I finally got one where I wanted it to be. Because man, do they move. They are so hard to get, to capture, So it takes a lot of trial and error. This one I kind of liked the cliff face on the right there.
Exactly.
That yellow, there's a lot of textures going on. So it just was a natural frame. So I really like this one for that reason.
Is that moss or is it fungus or
lichen?
That's a good question.
More likely is lichen.
Okay.
You're talking about like the orange.
Yeah.
I think that is some type of I can't think of it is like a fungus, but I can't quite think of what I'm trying to think of. But yeah.
I vote for a hand painting from Ancient Aliens.
Yay!
There you
I
go.
subscribe on that. Yay!
Ancient Newfoundland tribal people.
Yes.
All right. So
Vikings. Anyway, so
yeah, there you go. That's right. So here's the common murre. They're really neat birds too, because one of the things that I wanted to get, I saw them opening and closing their mouths a few times, and that pretty orange color. So this one, I saw them doing like a little wing flap, and it was raining a little bit at the time, just a real light rain. So I was messing around trying to get some rain streaks with a slow shutter speed, but there just wasn't enough rain to really show it off. So when I started to see them kind of do these wing flaps on the rock, I jacked my shutter speed up and just waited for him to do it again, and used a little. There was a little bit of vegetation in front of me, so it was kind of kind of boring. There wasn't really anything else going on, so I just used a little wash of that vegetation to create a little bit of a foreground interest in it. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that shot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Now, are those water spots or stars in the background?
Yeah, those are actually little water droplets from the rain.
Okay.
And I love photographing birds in the rain. I never used to do that before,
Yes.
but there just wasn't enough to really create like any streaking or anything. Typically I go down to like 1/100th or even 1/60th to do like rain. And, it's kind of hit or miss. You get some blurry ones and get some good ones, but it just didn't quite work out here. But I do like the pose and the mouth looking at me and all that good stuff.
And I agree with you that the inner part of the mouth with that bright color there make the photo. And by the way, the one of the interesting things is that some of these birds, some of these cobomure, some of them have that white around the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't, correct? So
yeah.
So and it's nothing to do with male, female. It's just that it's one characteristic that is not common to all the birds. But the one that had the white around the eye, and the little line following the eye in the back.
Yes. Yeah.
More interesting.
Yeah, I think they call them bridled murs. Kind of the nickname was what Brad was calling them. But yeah, I think you're right. It's like a variation, like not really a subspecies, but just a variation, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, I like that too. So the next one is also common murs. This was a little interaction. That's kind of on this. That's in the same rock too. The other one was on. And like I said before, I just love interaction shots, and I got a whole series of these with the two birds. And this one I just kind of liked because I liked the way his eyes kind of like looking back over at me.
Yes.
So yeah, it was, and once again, getting some foreground blur to kind of add a little bit of visual interest there.
And of course, you have to be close to the ground because you're close to the cliff. So you
yeah,
don't want to
yeah, definitely.
Steps it would be
Yeah, and like I said, some of the other guys were like going. Well, just really two guys were going like right out to that rock the birds were on. They were actually going down below that yet, hanging on the cliff face itself because there was like little like ledges that cut into it. So I mean, if you were okay with heights, it wasn't dangerous, but there's just no way I would do that. There's no shot that would be worth it.
One thing for sure, Mike, one thing for sure, you are not going to be changing lenses, correct? Because otherwise the lens will roll down into the sea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was with the 100 to 400. I tell you what, that lens, I kept that lens.
Yes.
That lens is, I think, underrated a little bit for wildlife and bird photography. Well, for other things too, but I really like that. It's so versatile and nice, sharp. Yeah, it's just, I think everybody that does bird and wildlife photography should own that one. It's a great lens. Yes. So we can go to the next one, Gustavo. We just got a few more left. I just threw a couple. I wanted to show you a couple of the other species. Some of these aren't necessarily my favorite shots, but I wanted to kind of show you the kind of little bit of the diversity of birds. This is a guillemot. I think they call them also the pigeon guillemot or a black guillemot was the ones that were then in this area. And once again, the inside of the mouth has that just beautiful bold color.
And the feet, of course.
Yeah, the feet are awesome too. Yeah, we did not see a lot of them. Matter of fact, I think somebody from the group saw this bird, and they said, "Hey, if you guys want a guillemot shot, there's one, over here on the cliff, over here in this direction." And that was one of I don't know, maybe I saw like half a dozen of them the whole trip. So we didn't see a lot of them. So it was good to at least get one photo.
Beautiful.
And the next one is, I think, one of the coolest birds, the razorbill. I just said the light was getting kind of harsh when I got this shot. You could see I was up at 4 thousandths of a second, and my ISO was like 220.
Wow.
Yeah, really bright, direct light. But this is one of like the only we saw a few flying in and out, but these two, when I saw them on this rock kind of posing together, I kind of really wanted to make sure I at least got one decent shot of the species. So this was like my one and only one that I really liked of the razorbills.
Yes.
So that's most of the bird. Oh, that's right. We have another one here. This is funny. We were walking out the one evening, and I forget what was a July moon. What was the name of it? I forget. But anyway, we saw the moon popping up, and so we were frantically trying to get a puffin lined up. This is like the mainland that the gull is on, but all of the puffins had flew out to the sea stack, so there wasn't any of them around anymore. But we really wanted to get a puffin in the moonlight. But fortunately, most of the time during some of the outings, we were cursing at gulls because they were getting in the way of our shots, because they like to go in and harass the puffins and the murres. So we were always kind of swearing at them and, not too happy with their presence. But here I think there was also somebody got one. There was a cormorant that somebody got, and there was a gull. So, you'll take anything at that point, just to get something. Like, give me anything. So the gull, he worked out nicely. Now, just to show you, this is not, if you zoomed in on this is not a super sharp image at all. But we were shooting handheld. Now, this was with the 600. I was at 1/25th of a second on that. And that's handheld. So, and I was already bumping up to like 4,000 ISO. So not a lot of light. Now, there's where, well, you know what though, with the 400, with the 2.8, you wouldn't have, you needed a little more focal length. So 600 f4 would have been a little better here in that case. But anyway, it was a fun shot. Yeah.
It worked for sure. All right.
And here's the last slide. This was the lighthouse opposite of where we were shooting the birds at Cape St. Mary's. Just wanted to kind of show it to you that, once again, if you're into photographing landscapes and seascapes, just some amazing opportunities. This, every time we would walk in the mornings or leave in the evenings, that was one of the things, it was great to be able to capture a nice portfolio of images of birds that I had never seen before. That was great. But one of the other things that was really amazing about the trip was the sights and the sounds that you would see kind of hiking in, hiking out. And, that moon and this beautiful light, sunset light, the beautiful morning light. And when we would go to the bird rock in the morning, like I said, there's a couple thousand gannets out there, and you would reach a certain point where all of a sudden you'd start to hear them.
Wow.
And just, in the early morning, pre-dawn, you're walking out there and then you hear this loud noise of all the birds, calling and, making noise. And then you would smell them too. That was a very smelly location.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I can still kind of smell that,
Yeah.
but definitely worth it though. So that was the last image I have to share, and I'll just kind of wrap it up with a few points, and then if you guys have any questions, I guess if I evaluated the workshop a little bit, I think as I mentioned earlier, there was a lot of hands-on guidance from Ray and Brad, the workshop leaders. I know I've heard some people say that they've went on workshops and the leaders are actually more concerned with getting images of their own rather than setting their clients up.
If
Yeah,
I've heard
that's
a
a
lot of
common,
I've heard a
common
lot of
complaint.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can assure you these guys were definitely looking out for us first. So I would highly recommend them if you're Ray offers a bunch of different workshops. So he's primarily focused on birds. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. There was plenty of photo opportunities there. Got all the major species we were trying to capture and lots of different light to work with. The gear I took, I don't have any regrets. I think it was, I pretty much had everything covered that I needed. I would say if you're going up there, don't sleep on a wide angle lens because you won't use it a great deal, but you'll get opportunities to use it and you'll get some shots that I think you'll really, really love. And I think, if you're in the 400, 500 millimeter range for the long end, I think you'll be good there too. The length of the trip, I think it was pretty much perfect because I tell you what, by the end of it, I was starting to get a little worn out. During the day, you get the adrenaline of being out shooting and, you get a couple hours of sleep. And because it's all new and exciting, you're ready to go. One cup of coffee, you're ready to rock and roll. But towards the end there, it was starting to wear on me a little bit. So catch up on some sleep,
Intense as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a statement here and let me know if you kind of agree with this commentary. A lot of people, when I've talked about, potentially going on, a photo-centric trip and paying to go in a group or whatever, and a lot of the comments would be, well, I would never pay that kind of money to go.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm talking like going to Africa and having to pay $14,000 or those type of trips. But
right
here, my thought process is, if you've never been to any area where you're thinking of, like in this case, going to this workshop here, if you're not familiar with the area, my thought process is if you can afford it, it's worth paying for it through a guide at least once.
Yeah.
And then after that, okay, now you're familiar with the area. If you really like the place and you want to go again, then you could go by yourself and do it on your own because you've got that experience that you gained from going with a guide. And how's your feelings? What are your feelings regarding that statement?
I think you nailed it head on. That's exactly my opinion of it. And there's another element too. I think the main reason was definitely, as you stated, if you're not familiar with the area, and if I'm just going somewhere casually, if photography is only a small part of it, then I'm okay with kind of like figuring things out on my own. But on a trip like this, that, like you said, you've never been to Newfoundland, I have no idea what it's even going to look like. I don't know anything about where the best locations are, the best, way to approach the light and the direction and all that kind of good stuff. And that's where these guys really came in with their expertise. And they've been doing these probably 3 or 4 years now, I think. So they have some experience with it as well. And I think the other part of it, besides that, is that, I don't know about you guys. When I go on a trip, I'm usually the travel agent because my wife isn't really a traveler as much as I am. So I'm usually planning out all the details, making the arrangements and all that good stuff, doing all the logistics. But this was actually nice to actually, once I got there to St. John's, everything was pretty much, I didn't have to do anything. I just, whenever they told me to be out and be ready to go, that's all I had to do. I didn't have to do any of the driving, any of the, planning. So that took a lot of the stress off and just kind of allows you to really get in the zone of shooting. I think that's one of the other advantages that I saw. But it's not
And you're gonna come home with wall hangers too.
Yeah.
And you hate to spend money to go somewhere, especially, in some cases where it might be a once in a lifetime type of trip.
Mm-hmm.
You'd rather spend the extra money and know that you came home with a portfolio of phenomenal images rather than just a handful of good ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On your own.
Absolutely. Yeah, spot on. And I think too, the other part of the workshop experience was, like I said in the beginning, I was a little bit weary of being around that many other shooters, that it would be distracting, but it really wasn't. And as a matter of fact, I made a couple people I made friends with. I made friends with everybody, but there's a couple of them that we're staying in touch with one another, like on Instagram and, sending messages, once in a while, looking at others and, looking at our images together. And so created some really good friends. And it was nice to be able to be on a trip. I think the first half of the trip, there was 3 of us guys in the same vehicle together with Ray. We talked about gear for like 2 days in a row because our wives usually shut us down really early when we start talking about gear. My wife will say, I don't care about which lens you bought or what you're doing with it, but we always want to talk about it. And now we had a great platform to get it all out. We could talk about whatever, we could really geek out on photography, I guess.
No, that's fine. Chuck, you're on mute, Chuck.
Yeah, you're muted, Chuck. We can't hear you.
So everything we're talking about is this program. We're talking about, gear or whatever, because nobody else wants to hear about it.
That's right.
My wife could care less.
Yep.
So
Well, my wife's favorite line is "boys and their toys."
Yeah.
All right.
And today was fantastic, correct? I tell you, Mike, congratulations. I think fantastic trip, beautiful photos. This is the kind of thing why we are here for, to share and inspire each other. And you certainly did that here today. And guys, you out there, follow the example of Mike and bring us some more images, because everybody can come here. Everybody's welcome to come and participate. And we certainly know there is a lot of talent out there. And this that Mike had done here for us today, fantastic. Jeff and I have been telling you the photos are going to be wonderful, and you can see why we have been saying so. So congratulations.
We don't lie, folks. We don't lie on this channel.
Yeah, Michael, I'd like to make a couple of comments.
Oh, sure.
The first one is, it's really nice of you to let Gustavo put his name on the bottom of your picture.
Well, he's my inspiration, so he's my muse.
Yeah.
And to clarify myself, in case you didn't hear me before, I really hate you. Right? Just in case you didn't cut it. I love your photographs, but I hate you.
Yep. But for anybody wanting to get to St. John's, is once you make it to Canada, it's very easy to get there in WestJet. And
Yeah.
WestJet is privately owned.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. There's
yeah.
the company that owns WestJet owns 100% of it.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
well,
And
yeah.
this goes to show the value of going on a good workshop.
Mm.
And with good people, and it's worth the money.
100%.
When I went to the Isle of Skye, I hired a photographer for a day, and he took me around to all the good places on Skye, and I geolocated all the pictures that I took. So the next 3 days that I was on the island, I went back,
Oh, yeah.
and I managed to get there at the proper time of the day for the light and everything. And yeah,
That's a big part of
and
it.
yeah, and with you, it's you could do something like that if you ever went back, because you know where all of these places are.
Yep.
And but the big thing is you got to geolocate your pictures so you can find your way.
Mm-hmm.
And different times when, like I live pretty close to Banff and Jasper, and Lake Louise, and there's one day I was driving from Lake Louise to Banff. It's 70 kilometers, and it took me 6 hours.
Mm.
And I was pulling a trailer, so there wasn't many places I could stop. But every time I stopped, I was there for at least half an hour.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to see, and unless you stop and get out and smell the roses, you're not gonna, and you've got to do that and take your time. And a nice thing about being with other photographers, you can compare notes.
Oh, yeah.
Because and whenever I run something, I usually learn more being out there talking to others than they learn from me. But anyway, that's not the idea.
The bad thing about being with other photographers is that you end buying a 400 TC.
So yeah, that became a
one of the
very
drawbacks.
expensive trip in the end for you.
No. I can't afford a 400 TC because I already have a Gustavo.
Hey, Mike, I just want to thank you for accepting our invitation to come on and do a presentation, because we want to encourage other people that are in the chat to do the same thing, because I know not everybody necessarily had a job where they had to do a lot of prepared speaking or anything like that, so people get a little nervous about it. But we're the friendliest group of people that you could share a story with, because we just all love the same thing, and
Right.
and I encourage others out there in the chat to feel free, and it doesn't have to be. It can be a 5-minute. It could be share 2 images and talk about them. It could be a 5-minute presentation, or a 30-minute presentation, or a 2-hour presentation. We don't care. We're not necessarily looking for the longest presentations all the time. We're just looking for people willing to come out and share what they do and talk about how they did it, or why they chose to go there, and that type of thing, because that benefits everybody. It gives people motivation to maybe go to that same location and try their luck at it, or go, get in touch with the folks, Mike, that you used and had good luck with, and feel good that if they invest the money into doing that, you had a very good success rate and enjoyed those folks, and it makes people want to give it a shot and try the same thing. So we encourage more people to come on to share some of their experiences, and even everything like as you said, Mike, if you've never packed for a photo trip before, you're really nervous, you're questioning what you're bringing. Am I bringing the right stuff? Am I bringing enough stuff? Should I bring all my stuff? And for those who have had the opportunity to travel quite often, I mean, just sharing those insights, like what kind of bag do you use? Do you put your clothes in a duffel bag? Okay. Like you did, what kind of airline are you on? Can you even check in a bag someplace? Some of the smaller airlines, no, it's got to be able to fit in the, even their overheads might be slightly smaller than like flying Delta or US Air or something like that. So you have all those little things that, if you've never done it, you have no clue. And the worst time to find out that you overpacked is when they tell you, sorry, you can't put that on the plane. So, it's important to get this information from those that have had the opportunity to do this kind of stuff. It means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to everybody that's going to watch this down the road, and for those that came in the chat.
Well, I'm really glad that you encouraged me to do it, Jeff. I was a little apprehensive. And Gustavo, just wanted to thank you again for all the hard work you did putting the slides together. So thanks for working with me on that. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, and we had done it before, and again, encouraging others. I mean, Jeff and I are here to help.
That's why we have him.
Exactly.
That's why we're keeping him for that.
He's valuable.
We pay Gustavo the going rate. It's at $0.00.
But there is one advantage, correct? I get to see the photos first, and great quality as well.
There you go. Well, you earned every penny, Gustavo.
Well, Gustavo, that's not going to apply for my presentation. You're not going to see the photos first. I'm not going to show them to you.
No.
Ooh. That's mean, David speaking right now.
Yeah, and I will have my name on the bottom of the screen.
Bad Canadians.
For sure. Anyway, and I apologize that some of the first images came with a grid. I needed to make sure that I display it differently. But hey, those are minor details. I think everybody enjoy here the All right.
It was a great,
Mike. Beautiful images.
Mike,
Oh, thank
good.
you. Appreciate
Very
it, Terry. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Glad you enjoyed it.
All right.
oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
We didn't enjoy it. We hate it, but anyway.
So let's continue here.
Did you see my jealousy run around?
So photo gear. So let's talk a little bit about photo gear. Okay. So they will have also a little bit of a demo. So one of the things that I have been trying to do, and let me put myself here.
Make your picture bigger here.
First of all, yeah. And then I'm going to put it this way. Let me try and see. So Think Tank came with a new model of bag. Okay, they have these. It's called Focus Point Roller Top. I think it was announced relatively recently, and it came into the stores maybe a couple of weeks ago. And I have been looking for a while for a bag to replace, and I'm going to move away from this one to a bag to replace a bag actually that I got from. Let me go this way and I show you that I got actually from many years ago from Gitzo. It actually, when I bought some of my Gitzo carbon fiber, they sent me this as a present. Actually, it was a nice present because when I checked on it, it was like at that time a couple of $100 on top of that they put on top of that. And this Gitzo bag had been my complementary bag to my Think Tank roller, right? So I have a 4-wheel roller, correct, where I put my long telephotos, but I always have a second bag in trips where I had to take a lot of camera gear, correct? So this goes in top of the roller, correct? So I carry these two. But this one is getting a little bit old. Sometimes when I put it on, the padding here is not as great, and it has served me well. So I have been looking for a while to come with some replacement, right? So when Think Tank came for that, I ended selecting let me go back here. So, trying one of these, and locally, there was this new model was available in my local camera store, right? Because they have two modalities, let me explain here, right? They have two modalities. They have a 30 liters and a 20 liters, okay? And I didn't know because it's not my main bag, it's a secondary bag. And actually, they say, Mike, in a trip like the one that you have, or when I went to Iceland, correct? I don't need sometimes. I want to take my 800 millimeter or my 600, but I don't need to use it all the time, correct? So I need a smaller bag if I'm going to do a small hike, or if that day I'm not doing long telephoto and I'm doing a hike. I want something smaller, and that's what I use a Gitzo, but it's not the best one for that, and it's getting a little bit old, correct? Now, so there are two models, the 20 liter and the 30 liters. So I ended actually having the luck to be able to go and look at the two, correct? And I thought I was going to be on the 20 liter. Well, it turned out that the 20 liter was really, really small, right? It will not fit. It will not fit even the because I sometimes carry the 600. They are not mounted, but in the back. So if I needed the 600, I could take the camera out, put it on one camera body, correct? So I ended not buying the 20 liter. Actually, I ended buying the 30 liters, and the 30 liters still tight fit, but I'm happy with what I have now.
Well, and that is legal size to fit in most overhead bins, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you see the warning label inside of it, though?
What?
There's a warning label in there that says, "Do not put your peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the top when you roll it up."
Well, and actually, that's the thing for the roller, correct? You have your camera gear that you can access through the back, correct? But you have places like, I presume, in Newfoundland and Iceland, that you have to carry a jacket in the morning, but you don't want it the rest of the day. You can put it on the roller portion of that.
There's a special
nice.
ICU inside the compartment for the lenses, and
Yes, they have all sort of dividers, right? They call, I mean, think tank give you a lot more dividers. I already set it up for what I want, and so I ended only putting
lens. Yeah.
putting a couple of dividers because I want to have
yeah,
the C8 24 120, which is my kind of first camera that I take out, and then a couple of telephotos in these the 20 millimeter or the 14 to 30 f4, correct? So far I'm happy, but the warning here is if you're looking for a second bag to do some hiking, that is not the Jaimongo 40, 50 liters, correct? This will be a good solution, correct? But I don't know. I'm going to use it for a while. I went from not the traditional black color, from one of these other colors, because sometimes you don't want to look too much like a photographer nowadays, correct? So having
Good
something
idea.
You don't look like a photographer, Gustavo.
So anyway, so this is a purchase, but I tell you after a couple of trips, okay, if this work out, but definitely is better support, but definitely for the kind of thing we do, is the 30 liters that will work best. Okay, so that's in the photo gear segment here. So and locally, the good thing is I was able to go to a proper camera store and inspect it and try it out with my C8. Actually, when I try because it has one of those side entrance for your camera, I could not even pass the C8 through the opening, correct? And then when I read the instructions, correct? When I read the instructions, so if we put this one back again, big, you can see that for the 20 liter, they recommend only APS-C type of camera, while the teddy leaders they recommend a full frame camera. Correct. So anyway, so that's my recent purchase, and I tell you, I still would see if this will replace my Gitzo bag, and when I travel again. All right, so I did this one, so I need to press on that one. So any comment now? Photo sharing, which is so we're going to now go to the photo sharing session. So we're going to start here with some photos from Mr. Terry, who have who have been taking some
Hey,
photos.
Mike, you could tell Terry how much you hate him after you see these pictures.
I probably will. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the moon's upside down.
Yes.
Yeah. I have
Not
the
to
camera
me.
upside down, that's why.
Looks okay to me.
Thanks for your support, mate.
And the clouds are on the bottom rather than the top.
Yeah, where do you think you are?
So Terry,
That's why we call it down under, mate.
Everything's upside down in Australia.
Oh, yeah. Even
Including
the
us.
so Terry, you mentioned in your when you sent me the photo that you have an email and then the one that you wanted, how do you want it finally to be presented, correct?
Yeah, the one is the natural, the left one, the yellow is one. It is the super moon before a couple of 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's how it comes from the camera, but my interpretation is more like the black and white one.
Exactly. It looks, so that one have been low in the horizon, correct?
Just after the rising, yeah, it's about, I don't know, an hour after the rising.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe less.
Yeah. And there is another super moon coming up here shortly, correct?
Again? I'm not sure about it.
I think we have another super moon coming in maybe 2 weeks from now or something like that. So
Okay.
the opportunity here to keep trying that. So which lens did you use on this one, Terry?
That was the 400, 4.5. I think so.
All right. And then the next
I'm
one.
not sure if I have used the 1.4. I have to check. Sorry, if I haven't write it down. Sorry, it was probably with 1.6 and
So
1.4.
the next one is special for Mr. Stewart here.
Yay!
Wow.
So this was also in November 11, 12.
That was last week.
All right. This week.
The one you were talking about before. That was
Exactly.
a couple of days before.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
very
gorgeous.
nice.
That's why I
Terry,
sent you the photographs, because the events just happened.
Yes, definitely.
And that was from the beginning. After that, I had a problem to make a panorama. I make so many panorama photos, but Photoshop and Lightroom, they can't do it.
So is this a panorama or
No, that's a one shot, the
One shot,
14 millimeter.
with the 40 millimeter? Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. No, that's fantastic. You know, Terry, that as I was taking some photos of the aurora, that some of my aurora, and you will see here coming soon, there were some of the yellow color, correct? And yellow is not one of the colors that typically you see in the aurora, because
Well, we had yellow. Then later on it became green.
Yeah.
With a bit of yellow and red instead of the more fuchsia, how we call this, magenta color.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously the colors, I understood, and please, David, correct me if I say something wrong. I had to do with interaction of these, particles coming from the sun as interact with the different elements in the atmosphere.
Yeah, the red one is and the yellow, I think, is the oxygen.
Yes, the pink is the oxygen, but yellow is not one of the colors, correct? So so the yellow is produced when you have two of the colors combined, correct? So it comes from the combination of different interactions with different elements, correct? Because none of the elements produce a yellow. But you will see in mine, I also recorded that. So because I was concerned whether it was true after having read the colors that come from monthly interaction with oxygen and nitrogen. It turned out that the yellow comes from, when you compose the bluish aurora with the green aurora, it gives you some sort of yellow, correct? Like in our RGB system. So anyway, that's beautiful, Terry. Congratulations on.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
By the way, you have sorry.
Ooh.
So you have a stick here. Is that was a satellite or a plane?
Probably plane.
Huh?
Sorry, that's on the left one. You mean up there? That's a comet.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question as well. Were you able to see some of the colors like the red
No.
with your own eye? Okay.
Only a haze in the the horizon.
Okay.
You could see something were there, but not color.
Okay.
Color comes on the camera.
So
Terry, what was your exposure in this?
I think this is 6 seconds. I have to check it. Yes, 6 seconds on 2.8 and 3200 ISO.
And which lens? You said a 40?
1424.
1424.
fully open, correct? 2.8.
Yes, 2.8 on 14.
Yeah,
So-
those two lines that you see, they're satellites.
Actually, this is shorter with 20. I just noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, David? Beautiful, correct?
Yeah, it's a great shot,
Thank you.
And like when the sky is like this, I'll take a shot every 20 seconds and I'll keep it up for hours, and maybe even have a second camera or a fourth camera and whatever.
Yeah.
But
Later on, the colors fill up the frame.
yeah,
I like these ones more
Yes.
because it shows the whole thing sort of. That was the beginning, the first 10 minutes.
yeah.
Now-
Yeah. The thing with the aurora, it comes and goes. There's some nights you'll be there for half an hour, and other nights you'll be there all night. And it's supposed to be good tomorrow night too. But I just hope that we have fewer clouds than we've had in the last week.
Now,
But-
for us here, correct, and the latitudes where we are, typically we don't see anything, correct, or we don't even record anything. So I was surprised that that I can see it, and Terry also, he had recorded before the aurora australis, but not as much as this. And for me, for sure, it was incredible to be able to see it.
When David gave me the information that probably we had a good aurora, up on my house, the clouds was covered 100%.
Yeah.
But later on the afternoon, start to clean her up, and I grab a friend of mine. I said, we have to go and try. And actually clean her up for about an hour.
Yeah, yeah. So let me tell you what happened in my case. So this was from my backyard.
Yeah, and this picture is right side up.
Unfair.
So you can see, Terry, that the here there were the greens, correct, and the also. So this is at the beginning, correct?
Yeah.
In my case, even the whole neighborhood next door neighbor, the people were saying, hey, we can see there is an aurora, right? And I went out, first took a photo with the iPhone, and immediately went inside the house when I know the aurora was there. Now I was expecting to see the aurora only in the photos, but to my surprise, after I took the right equipment, the tripod, and put it on, it became very intense to the point that we could see not only the green color, but we could see the red. You see all this
You could see the colors,
diagonal.
Gustavo?
I could see it with my naked eye.
Wow.
So it was extremely intense, David. Correct?
Last
Not
year,
only,
we could see that down here, but not this time.
now, all these, I don't know if you can see. Let me point to the presentation here. All these strike, these features that are kind of diagonal, right? Which I presume they are following the magnetic field.
Yeah.
They were moving and dancing, and you could see them.
Oh, wow.
So that was the satisfaction, David, that not only I was able to photograph it, but I was able to see it. Correct? And I understand, David, you correct me, that sometimes you see the greens, but I could see with my naked eye after sitting around with the camera. I could see the reds as well.
Yep. Yeah, they were extremely bright, and like I have one picture that I could share of what I have with city lights in it, and this is one of the things they say. Oh, you can't shoot inside the city.
Oh, and
But,
that's the case here, David, because in this direction, which in my case was northeast a little bit, correct?
yeah,
This is the direction where it's Denver International, correct? So there is a lot of photos where I have a plane coming into the frame, correct? So it's not like it's the darkest part of my sky. There is plenty of light pollution in that direction, correct? Uh,
yeah.
and still the aurora was so bright that I could see it. I mean, you can see here my neighbor's house as well. And by the way, guys, let me point to something because I'm a wildlife photographer. There is a deer as well.
Yeah.
Yep, the deer. Yeah.
Dear. Oh, dear me. Dear.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
So this was David. This was early because what I noticed this time, correct? It was like bright. When I came out, it became brighter. Then it subsided a little bit, and then like half an hour later, it was a lot brighter again. Correct. So it was like you were saying, it was not constant. It was changing all the time, of course, which I knew, but also the intensity. It's not a single peak intensity.
No, it constantly changes and it'll move. And some nights it moves extremely fast.
Yeah. So I took this one, David, with a 20 millimeter at 1.8, right? ISO 4000. This is 1.6 second at 1.8, correct? So the best exposures were mostly, or the best ISO for me ended being, I tried multiple things, correct? I ended, actually, that's where you and Bob and Terry as well helped me, in as much as I remember you told me, hey, don't be afraid, you have to use a higher ISO, correct?
Yeah.
So I ended.
Photoshop took over.
Say that again, Terry?
Photoshop, you did it, clean it up very easy.
Oh, incredible. I mean, the starts were perfect, correct? They were pinpoint. Yeah. So this was early on. And let me tell you the progression. So look how bright they became, right?
Wow.
So this is from the same location.
Wow.
And of course, I have a lot more, so I'm going to show you only. I don't want to torture you with too many photos, but let me
Torture me.
And here you see also some purples as well, correct? And here, this actually was my favorite when they were striking between the the yellow, the greens, and the pink, right? And by that time, and this is in the second peak, the whole sky was red, correct? I mean, all the way. So this is the kind of aurora, David, that you probably will have photographed almost looking south, correct? Because
Yeah.
yeah. So this is rare for us here in Denver and Colorado, but it was really spectacular. I tell you, I was in a high for that night and the next couple of days, correct? And this is one of my favorites. And I did something extra. I went and put myself into the photo.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's why the aurora is gone.
This is when the aurora was almost going, and I say, hey, before it goes completely, let me take a photo of myself. And by the way, you can see here in my hand is the clicker, correct?
Yeah.
That has a little red light, and obviously you guys are not going to be able to see it on YouTube, but that little red light was sufficient to reflect out of my arm and my bald head as well. So, David, this is what happens. Thanks to you.
Oh,
Tell
yeah.
me about it.
Well, Gustavo, I have one picture that I could share of what I
All
got
right.
here.
Let me stop sharing here. But that November 11 for sure is it was spectacular.
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Why it didn't change that?
Okay, now I got to figure out how to do this here.
So one check on my bucket list.
Okay, can you see that?
We'll get there in a second. Let me turn it on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
From the city, yeah?
Okay,
man.
yeah, like I took this from the roof of the building I'm in, and that's on the
All right.
18th floor, and this is downtown Calgary, and you can see the Calgary Tower here,
Yeah.
and that is my best shot that I got all week, and it's crap.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's your
But
work,
anyway.
not ours.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, and just because you're downtown doesn't mean you can't get it. But anyway, that's it.
Yeah. Now here in Denver, I tell you, it was. I mean, as you said, almost from my neighborhood is a little bit dark, correct, compared with the other areas. But people in middle of the town was able to photograph it and see it.
Yeah.
Now I doubt they were able to see it with the naked eye because of light pollution. But and that was the most satisfying thing, that I was able to see it, with my own eyes, correct? Which I never expected it. So
Yeah.
anyway, so keep the faith, and next time, Jeff, just go out and take some photo with your phone, and if there is something, photograph it, because I mean, it's amazing. And definitely, these type of things it was my favorite, right? And in this case, just from my backyard.
you ever take any video also?
David, that's for you. I didn't take any video.
Well, I have, but it's all been in time exposures because you want to expose each frame for a couple of seconds.
Time lapse.
Yeah,
It's more
like a time lapse, and then it's when you put it together. You probably want to put it together at 10 or 12 frames a second, and then it still moves really, really fast. But it is not easy to do, but you can do it. Like I've got the proper glass, because my shot that I had, that was a 28 millimeter f1.4. It's the Sigma Art series.
Okay.
And that one works well. But it's still not easy to do. And we got two Terrys.
We got two Terry.
How about myself?
We got a Terry doppelganger.
I know I'm fat, but not so fat.
Mhm.
We're
you
gonna
see the
kill one of
bottom?
yous.
Ah, you took out my
You
good.
spoiled it.
There you go.
You took
Take
the
out
wrong
the
one
other
out.
guy. This guy. Can
Maybe
you
that-
take it out? I don't know how can I do it.
Well, we're going to try to, I think, hit on the last few things here and maybe end at midnight like we try to do and never do.
So let me help Terry here a little bit.
I just tried to show the other photograph of the night. That was most of the time, the aurora.
So this will be a good. This is a good preamble when we discuss upcoming, correct? But obviously, David, you will. I mean, there's still chance that there will be still some aurora, correct?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah. Maybe not the same intensity, correct? This was probably the most intense.
What's coming up won't be anywhere near like that last bit. And there was 3 coronal mass ejections, one right behind the other. And what you actually saw was the effects of 2 of them together. You know, they get the first one comes in and it kind of preps the earth, and so that when the second one comes, it doesn't take as much to really get a show. So when you get
The magnetic field of the earth was not able to fight it.
well, yeah, it it was still tired from the first one,
Exactly.
and sometimes it doesn't take much, you know, but. And what I found is looking at the data from the various apps that I monitor is lots of times the apps weren't agreeing with themselves that they said have a KP of 8, but you got to have a look at the data that they use to produce or to calculate this 8, and they couldn't justify it in my mind anyway. You know, but you had everything. You had good speed. You had good density, and you had a BZ that was approaching -20 at times. And the more negative it is, the further south the aurora goes.
Yeah. I could
All right.
see on the side. Anyway, so let's keep moving.
Just keep moving.
Hey, I'm going to take off.
Here along.
Okay, Chuck.
Yeah. Have a good night, Chuck.
Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
And
Yep.
we got 2 Terrys again.
We got 2
All right.
Terrys again. Angry
You don't need
Terry.
anybody else.
We got Angry Terry.
All right.
Take care, Chuck.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck.
I'm going to, once in a while I had that segment. Let me get this to here. Oh,
no, not that one.
I don't know. I get that one.
Oh, Jeff, put it on the multi one. Let me stop sharing. That way you can for sure take control. I come back and share again. Now you can
Going
enlarge.
to leave and come back again to see if you go the second one.
We can enlarge you so you can show us.
All right. I used to do that "Do You Know" segment once in a while. So I did find something to bring up about the first flash bulb. Presumably, and I say presumably because different sources give you different information. But it was invented by Johannes Ostermeyer in Germany, who patented it in 1930. And the first commercially available version was what they called the vacuum Blitz, which was developed in Germany and used a thin magnesium foil ignited by an electrical current inside of a glass bulb. Now, the invention and patent was in 1930, and the Philips company also developed a version in 1928, but Ostermeyer had it patent first. Was commercially available actually in 1929. Now the bulb was essentially a light bulb filled with magnesium foil and oxygen, which ignited with an electrical current and produced a bright flash. Safety improvements. Early versions were prone to exploding, but technology improved over the years with plastic replacing glass and zirconium replacing magnesium for a stronger light. And flash bulbs were popular until the 1980s when they were largely replaced by electronic flashes, of course. And there are conflicting reports of who the first ones were, either GE in the U.S. in 1927 or the vacuum blitz, as I mentioned earlier. The first wire-filled bulbs are reported to have been made by Philips in the Netherlands in 1934. And I'm not going to get into showing the camera, make the show way too long, but let's just say I bought a camera from the 1930s and I found a flash for it. And I wanted to find a flash bulb for it. I looked and looked and looked forever to find a flash bulb. And it was called the General Electric Mazda photo flash lamp number 7. And this one bulb, shamefully, I have to admit, I paid $17 for it. It will never get used. It's just because I wanted it in the original packaging and that I could put the bulb in the flash unit for.
That's the cost to make a museum, right?
Make a museum piece out of it. So, but I'm going to take the bulb out of the package because it's going to freak you out.
Yay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So there's the foil,
And
what looks like smoke is really just a lot of filament, a lot of wire in there, and this bulb I have the manual for the flash, and it actually tells you that there is a risk that this bulb will explode on you. So like I said, I am not going to try it out, and because I looked and looked for a long time and could only find one light bulb that would work with the flash, it is never going to get used, and it is just very cool looking on its own. But imagine using this stuff way back when.
That's what I'm saying. Photography is dangerous sport.
You take a picture of your kids and the light bulb blows up and cuts them all up. That would be a nice remembrance, right?
But Jeff, it was not a flash, correct? It was a continuous light bulb.
It was a light bulb, yeah. That just it would like blow. It literally would like just the gas and oxygen. It would just like boom. It would just be like.
But it would not come off, correct? Because it will stay on a high bright. I presume that you will use it only for a little while, correct?
Oh yeah, this is It was a very, very, very strong amount of light, and of course, I mean, I don't know how they really did quality control, because all flashes, your camera had to be set up to facilitate certain bulbs with certain delay times and stuff like that, so it gets pretty complicated. But I thought I would share that little flash or light bulb story with you and show you one. I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
And I'm sure some of those elements, the filaments and the aluminum, will become incandescent, correct? So it will be bright yellow. So it will be a scary looking light bulb.
Yes. I would not want to be looking at that bulb. I'll just jump to some of the stuff from the other rumor sites, the Sony rumors about claiming there's claims out there on Sony Alpha rumors that the A7 V will be announced December 2nd. Estimated cost $3,000. First day pre-orders are likely to ship before Christmas. Rumored specs for that camera is a 33 megapixel sensor, Unclear if it's the same as the A7 IV or it's tweaked or if it's partially stacked. Notice there's a lot of gaps in the information. Improved frame per second rate, 8 stops of IBIS. It's going to have an AI chip in it like the Sony A1 Mark II. Free angle tilting, 3.2-inch touchscreen LCD, 2 times dual Type A SD slots, no C5 button, improved EVF, and they're putting in question marks 5.6 million dot. Same Sony A7R5 body design, and then just saying the same thing again, that announcement early December, limited batch shipments before Christmas. So we'll see. And then Lexar launched some 2 terabyte capacity CF Express 4.0 Type A cards. They have like a gold version that's sold at B&H. That's $699.99. And then they have a silver version that sells on Amazon for $599.99. So if you want to spend a nice chunk of change before Christmas, go ahead, knock yourself out. Sony does have camera rebates as of November 12th. I'll just list a few of the deals that they have. $500 off plus a $50 cash back on the Sony A1, $900 off and a $50 cash back on the A7R4. So there's a whole listing that you can, go to Sony Alpha Rumors and see the whole list of specials that they have right now on Sony gear.
I'm going to do that straight away after the.
Go for
it. Yeah. I will.
Fuji Rumors really wasn't much. They just commented that Fujifilm Europe has dropped massive X and GFX deals all over the continent. The deals end January 14th. And I would just say refer to their website because the rebates vary by region, in some cases by a substantial amount. And as Fuji Rumor says, it's sometimes a bit confusing to understand. So I'm not going to try to explain it. But if you're a Fuji guy, go to the Fuji Rumors website and you could try to figure it out. Canon Rumors, which was kind of interesting. Canon Rumors right now has a lot of comparison articles / videos, such as the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, which is the camera that just came out, versus the EOS R5 Mark II. And then they have the R6 Mark III versus the Canon EOS R5. And then another title, why I'm buying the R5C instead of the C50 or the R6 Mark III. So if you want to totally befuddle yourself and look at all these, why you shouldn't buy this one and why you shouldn't buy that one, or why I want to buy this one versus the other one, you can go there and find plenty of those types of articles. Canon, now with the new R6 Mark III, they released an ultra fast, moderately priced Canon 45mm f1.2 STM, stepping motor lens for $470, which for Canon is a steal of a price because Canon lenses are not inexpensive. We all know that. They're mostly, for the most part, more expensive than Nikon glass. Now, they do say, however, that with that low price comes compromises. At maximum apertures, the lens will have some prominent vignetting, as well as needing digital correction for distortion. And Canon suggests that this lens is developed as a character lens. I always like it when a lens doesn't perform perfect. We call it a character lens, and we say the lens has character. Like all the lenses from the 50, everybody says, oh, the lenses nowadays are too sharp. They don't have any character. They're sharp because they have very few defects. What you call character, let's be honest, people don't like to say this. I don't have a problem with it. what people call character were actually the limitations of lens design from those eras. They didn't intentionally make it so the lens was blurry in the corners wide open and you had to stop it down 2 stops, and then the corners were relatively sharp, and at the center, at wide open, the center would be the only part that would be sharp. You
But
can
then
call
can
it
I
character
can
all you
say
want.
that was Len's fault and wasn't mine.
Yeah. I mean, that was basically the limitations of the lens design. So call it whatever you want, but you know, there are enough cheap Chinese lenses with lesser known companies that their early offerings had a lot of that special look to them.
They were
Let's
Mikey.
put it that way. That were very, very cheap that you could still buy. So an interesting article on Canon rumors by a gentleman named Richard Cox. He titled it, "Did Canon see the writing on the wall with the RF mount?" And this article gets into really Canon's protectionism regarding opening up the RF mount to third-party lens manufacturers, which they won't do, right? The real fear, many feel the real fear that Canon has is that the improvements of the Chinese lenses would probably eventually, these are my words now, of my interpretation of the article, is that the improvement of the Chinese lenses, that basically Canon's afraid that the Chinese manufacturers are eventually going to eat their lunch. Okay, so if Canon opened up the mount, this may not turn out the way Canon wants it to be, because they're going to lose market share, they're going to lose profits, and so if they protect it, they assume they're going to keep making the good money to put into R&D, yada yada yada. But there are many users, Canon users, that are frustrated. They want the option of being able to buy cheaper lenses from third-party manufacturers, and they're not able to do it. So some people have left the Canon ranks and they've gone to Sony or somebody else, because obviously Sony has a ton of third-party lens manufacturers, because in the beginning they couldn't manufacture very many lenses in the beginning, and they relied on third-party lens manufacturers. So that's why they have so many lens options.
But they have their own limitations with their own lenses anyway.
Well, now. So Canon's just trying to basically optimize their profit as long as they can. So, but it's a very interesting article to read, whether you own Canon or not, because it kind of lets you get into the thought process of the people at Canon and why they're doing what they're doing, and the end result, we don't know. It may turn to backfire in their face, because even the guy who wrote the article said the cost of Canon glass is getting so expensive that he's actually considering switching brands, even though he has a lot of Canon stuff. So if you got somebody that's a diehard Canon user and they're starting to get frustrated with the cost of their lenses and the inability to get third-party glass, I found it very interesting to read. But that's about it. It really wasn't. What's that?
Just blah blah. I think all this is more blah blah, because to change system from one to the other just because one lens doesn't work or this brand doesn't have this particular lens, it is, for me, doesn't sound so well. The cost, it is huge to change system from one
you'd
to
be
the
amazed
other,
how many
just
people
because
seem to
one
have
lens or so.
It's amazing though how many people seem to have way too much money where they go and do that. I could never afford to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
To me,
if you have one camera body with maybe one or two lenses, you could kind of play that game.
Yeah, okay.
But you got if you have multiple cameras in a brand, and you have let's say 6, 7, 8 lenses, it's really, really hard.
You can't change just like
throw
that.
it all away. It's hard.
Well, The thing, what you can do is you can change to Nikon and buy adapters and keep your glass.
Yay.
You know,
They
I
have
like that.
many adapters except RF. They use almost any lens in the market except RF.
Look who we brought in.
Hello.
This is a guy that's about as old as my right leg.
I mean, that must be some premium materials we're working with there, Jeff. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Sorry, it's been a while
How's
since
married
I've
life?
had...
Hey, we gotta know, how's married life treating you?
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. No complaints. It's been good.
Saying all
It's
the
not
right
gray
things,
yet.
Joe. Saying all the right things, Joe.
Yeah,
hear
no,
you.
really, I haven't started turning gray. I mean, it's gonna happen, but yeah, hopefully not anytime soon. How are you guys? What's new?
Hey, there's always something new going on. We
Well,
had a great presentation tonight by Michael Dries in the upper left-hand corner here. Newfoundland bird images, puffins, gannets, so on and so forth. Really nice shots, wonderful work.
Not so
Share
good.
that
Not
with
so,
everybody.
don't listen to them. Not so good.
And Terry says he hates them because he likes the shots too much, so he hates them. And
Yep.
yeah, we Gustavo spent a lot of time working with Terry and I mean with Michael and did a great job and as always, and we had a lot of fun with it. And then we just kind of like closing up shop here and just touching on the remaining rumors, and we didn't really get into detail yet on I casually mentioned it on the last photo review was the firmware update for the ZF. Didn't dive into that too much. David and I kind of had a little off the record conversation, a phone call or two on the firmware update for the ZF. I haven't even updated mine yet, but I guess it's interesting just to see from those that may still be here in the chat, how many people may have actually installed that firmware and used it and like it, because it is heavily, what they did was basically doing a lot of stuff with that you'd have to have Nikon software and the imaging cloud, and doing picture profile adjustments and things that you could download files into your computer, that are optimized the way you want your picture to look and things like that. And some people adding the grain feature, the film grain feature to your images, and controlling, how much grain you have, how strong the grain is, and things like that. So I personally haven't downloaded it yet because I just shoot raw all the time, 95% of the time. And if I want grain, I can add grain with my software. I don't need to make recipes and do all that other stuff. So it's not something that I'm gonna be like worrying about throwing it on my camera like immediately type of thing. Obviously, I haven't done it yet, but I'd like to hear from other people that have, if they like it, if they've tried it, do they like it? So if anybody has any comments in the chat, please feel to chime in. And David, feel free to make some comments because you fooled around with it a little bit.
Well, I think part of it is the way I've got Bridge set up is it takes the settings from the camera. But I really don't want my ZF to look like a 2 megapixel camera from the output that it's producing. So I'm going to have that off most of the time. But one other comment here is only half of the panel members are Americans. The Canadians and the Aussies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about that, eh?
That's okay. It just goes to show that we accept everybody.
Even Americans.
Yeah, we even accept Americans. Yes.
Oh, such a politically charged time.
It would probably be a better
All
show
of us using
without
Japanese
Americans
cameras.
on it.
Like that's the one thing that unifies all of us. None of us are using North American made cameras. Not one of us.
Good point.
But,
Yeah.
so Joey,
Arigato
what are you shooting with now, Joe?
Oh, I've got my Fuji X.
Well, we lost your audio.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Arigato mas. Perfect. Yeah, I got a Fuji X-T50 with the 40 megapixel sensor and then the 30 millimeter 1.4 Sigma lens. That's kind of my main sort of go-to in general. With that, I bought a Viltrox 15 millimeter f1.7. And then kicking around here somewhere is a Zoom telephoto Fuji lens as well. And yeah, I've been really liking it. I've been using these for my photo book project I'm working on right now with a friend. And honestly, the image quality is surprising. Like, I don't know. I went from crop, full frame, back to crop. And the amount of advancements they've made in the crop sensor bodies, it's pretty cool. And I just realized my hair makes me look like the alien guy from the History Channel. It's real. I promise. Crop sensors rock. They're awesome.
Hey, all I got to say, I was actually, saying, wow, what a nice head of hair you got.
Thank you. Yeah, I look like I'm using hairspray or something. Like it's just vertical. Yeah.
It's amazing what shoe polish can do,
I mean, anything is possible, Jeff. Anything. I use Rogaine on my head every night.
See, when you're showing that camera, you need to have like an accomplice behind you so that when you say, oh, I got the Fuji XYZ, then somebody's behind you hitting the cymbals. And what else do you got? I got the Viltrox, blah, blah, blah. You gotta really, emphasize this a little more.
Yeah, that'd be epic. I wish I had the support cast that is required to have someone in the background. That would be awesome.
Well, I missed the videos that you did some wonderful video work with the guy that had all the old radios and then the whiskey commercials basically that you did. The advertising and stuff for them was fantastic, and
Thanks, Jeff.
I'm sure you're just so busy you haven't had as much time to do some of those adventures that you were doing, but
I've been doing them. I've just not been publishing stuff on my YouTube channel. So I actually had a lot of client work over the summer. Yeah.
The best. You don't want to share anymore.
I mean, I would love to share. I mean, if you want me to share my screen, I'm more than welcome to share.
Anytime.
Okay, well, what do you guys want to see?
You got to come on and take a half hour of the show sometime and just show some of your latest video stuff.
I would love to do that. Well, before I leave for tonight, do you guys want to see one video or a little something from the old Rolodex? All right,
sure.
Cool. Here, I will share my screen. Can
you
guys
background where the project is and all that?
Can you guys see my screen?
We will in a second.
Perfect.
There it is.
All right. Do you guys want to look at a Michelin star restaurant that I shot in Portugal, the resort in Portugal, a launch video I did for a golf tech company, or whiskey or golf courses?
Now,
What
let's
is the
look at the
preference?
Portugal one, since probably Luis will see that tomorrow.
All right, cool. Why don't we look at the resort? Sure. Yeah, so I did a collaboration with a Ritz-Carlton property this summer. We were going for a honeymoon, and I was like, hey, I have a camera. They were like, okay, we will accept your camera. So I did a little bit of photo video stuff while we were there. So this shot I got here, this was with the mill. I shot it vertically, and then I did a panorama built-in camera stitch, which was fun to do. And then the images, for the most part, I shot with the 15 mil as well. This shot that was a bit more punched in. This one I did do with the 30 mil 1.4. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed getting a chance to shoot the property.
Oh, he's got the fancy robe on.
Oh, I do.
You got the fancy robe on with the embroidery. Look at that.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh man, there he goes.
They hooked me up.
GQ magazine.
They hooked me up. What can I say? And then this was just a little video I shot for them. It's probably going to be really like leggy, but just a little something just to try to share with the property as much as I could. Go.
Very good.
Did you use a gimbal on any of these, or?
I did. Actually, here, let me stop sharing here for a sec. Hold on, I gotta bring the right tab back up here. 1 sec. I will grab the gimbal. Just a sec.
Okay.
Good synergy there, Joey, between honeymoon and a business. So
I like the guy in the robe there with the drink. He's
Yeah.
Somebody have to pay for the travel.
The question for Joey will be: did he get a discount on the honeymoon because he did a commercial as well?
I did actually. So
you see,
there you go.
The whole deal with the hotel was about 35% off in exchange for content.
Oh,
Which,
that's good.
it worked out really good, except one. Okay, where is that stupid gimbal? I cannot find it. It's kicking around here somewhere. I cannot find it. Okay, I am sorry. I cannot find said gimbal. But yeah, basically the deal with the resort was exchanging the content for an upgraded room, and it was great. It worked out really, really well. And one thing I did learn though is the beer they have on the property is the same as they have everywhere outside, and they charge like $8 to $9 a beer by the pool. And I was like, well, we're staying here for 10 nights. So I ended up ordering a piece of beer from this Uber guy. He pulled up, and I maybe ordered a bit more beer than I was anticipating. The guy was leaning back like this. He's like, are you Joey? And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. And it was like $30 for a whole case. So if you go to Portugal, definitely BYOB. Don't indulge the resort. But
buy
yeah,
your own booze.
It's about this big. So like, I had the camera about here. Gimbal was probably about here. It was a Xeon Crane M3, so a very portable gimbal. And actually, I'm doing a collaboration right now with a leather maker, and he's going to make me a custom camera bag that can just fit my Fuji 2 lenses and my drone and the gimbal all in one. So once I get that finished from the guy, I will definitely share it with you guys because it should be fun.
Yeah, but that's we definitely love your entrepreneurial skills here, and of course the fact that you combine your pleasure and business here.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
We like being able to help promote you because you're a good kid.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. But I mean, the bigger thing for me is being able to see all the great work you guys do, because some of the shots y'all get, it's like National Geographic. I'm like, look at this. And I'm just like, where were you? How did you do this? Like, yes, like some of your bird shots, man. I mean, I was just like eating dinner. I opened up, I was like, whoa, how did you do this? I need to go to Newfoundland. I need to go to the to that coast because I'm in Alberta. So like it's very much like not that at all. And I need that in my life.
Yeah. And they got all these villages as well, correct? All these fishing ports. So it's definitely a destination.
It is, and the amount of wildlife, like in terms of like birds and stuff along the coastline, whether it's west or east in Canada, I mean, it's huge. It's just so much diversity and so much stuff going on. I mean, I keep seeing these guys going up to Alaska, and I'm like, oh, this looks so cool. Like, I really want to do that. Like, it's on my list.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Terry, are you in Canada too?
Anytime you contact Gustavo or myself, we'll set something up, give you a window of time, share some of your stuff, show people, what you're using to create the content, tips and tricks for those who may want to pursue a similar path to what you're doing. All that stuff is good stuff to share with people. As long as you're willing to do that, we will set up the time for you.
Yeah, and we're looking for topics, and we will talk about shortly about this for the upcoming year. So after, I think in February we got stuff in the pipeline until January, but February, March we still have some stuff, particularly Joey, because I mean a lot of people here take videos, okay? But what you do, which is I think remarkable, is the production quality. Because taking video nowadays is very easy. Taking video that tells a story, in your case, you do it professionally, but even, I mean, you can imagine somebody like Mike, he could make a video, interlacing some of the photos with some film, and that would be fantastic as well, right? So it's definitely something that you can teach us how you do that, and how to pick the right music, get the right. So obviously we are no longer we can pose taking a coffee with a bathrobe, but
yeah. I wouldn't look so good in that robe with a cup of coffee. So you pull that one off.
You know what, good. Jeff, I appreciate that, but how many shots that took me to get? Like that was like at least 10 to 15. Like I brought this Ulan. So this was the selfie stick I used. This is actually a light stand for my portable light, and it goes about 6 feet long, and it's got a big tripod base. So I use this as a selfie stick for my camera, which actually worked really well. But like out in that patio, I was like, okay, this is the one time using a crop sensor camera is not going to be as easy. I had like so much distance, and I did so many stances, and like even that shot, like I'm hanging out like way further over the balcony than I should be. So, but no, to your point though, like I would love to do a talk on video. Like, I mean, whatever would be useful, whatever's helpful. I mean, I think it's one of those things when you shoot photos, you kind of get used to a workflow and like a way of thinking about things. And when you're shooting video, it's the exact same thing, right? So if there's something I could do to help folks be a bit more intuitive with the way that they shoot, I think that's the big thing is if you're shooting both photo and video, finding a way that you can capture both mediums without compromising the other, right? I mean, if you're lucky, you've got 2 cameras, you've got another friend maybe with you, like there's a bit more flexibility. But if you're like the rest of us mortals and you're trying to shoot both mediums at the same time, you have to find a way to go between both modes and still honor each without compromising the other. You will always have to prioritize one. Like the bottom line is if you want to shoot more photo than video, you're going to be more in photo mode than video mode. But like for me on my Fuji, like I've got quick menus, right? So like on the right side here, I've got a dedicated video button. So if I'm in the photo mode, I can just start popping video right away. It's not going to be optimized by any means. Like the rules that we all have for the amount of frame rate versus resolution versus shutter. Like, it's not going to be like that. It's just going to be whatever I can get. But sometimes if I'm shooting photo and I see something really cool, that's the best I can do. But then I also have to factor in card time to get the writing done. But on this button here where it says delete, I've got a quick switch to go to video. So if I really want to alternate back and forth, I've got them both at the top and bottom. So I can go back and forth and quickly adjust as fast as I can. And the reason I love my Fuji is the buttons, which if you're shooting photo and video can be really, really handy if you have to make really quick tweaks. I mean, digital menus are awesome, but if you only have a split second to get something, sometimes that's all you can do. And that's where the dexterity of your hand and being able to quickly do something will ultimately result in you getting the shot. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that's helpful.
No, definitely.
Well, it's like I always have my, I flip the switch to video on my cameras all the time, and I pretty much have them set up for 4K 120. Because I'm usually doing nature and birds, and sometimes I want to put it in slow motion and I'm hand holding it and I want to have it look more smooth so I could slow it down. And so I kind of have it set up the way I want, where I just flip the switch and hit the button and go, and then I flip it back. Then I go, okay, I got that 30 seconds of whatever that was happening that was interesting. Now I'm going to flip it back to photos and go back to photos, and I'm just like constantly back and forth. Now other times sometimes you pick a day and you say no pictures today, just video, or I mean, or the other way around, no video today, just pictures, so it's good to mix it up and sometimes dedicate an outing to where maybe you go a lot and saying, this time I'm just going to shoot video and I get what I get, and so that you're just focused on that one task instead of, trying to multitask so much.
Jeff, I mean, that is the biggest thing. Sometimes when you get split multitasking, you end up looking at both results and they're both like very middle of the road. And if you live in a location that you're shooting in multiple times, especially in the same time of year, if you can have that luxury of going once to twice to the same place, I mean, that's best case. That's always best case. Like, you don't want to sacrifice one medium at the cost of the other, for sure. But gentlemen, I got to run here. The wife is calling, but it was great seeing you guys, and thank you all so much for having me. And I will, Jeff, I'll shoot you an email about maybe February or March. But if the team wants to jump on a call about video, I mean, I would be more than happy to capitulate. And maybe I could even do a workflow on Final Cut Pro, and we could kind of look at what a video for me looks like when I'm working through it in real time.
Don't worry, Joey. We will put you in the list that appear here with the upcoming. Then you are already committed.
And we're gonna pencil you in for the 3rd Saturday of February.
Exactly.
That sounds great, but please email me to remind me, because I am a Pisces and I am blonde, so those two things are not good for memory retention.
Yes, we will email you a reminder. At the beginning of the year.
That's perfect, because end of year for work is always crazy. So you message me in January, I'm all yours.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Have a good evening.
Bye. All right. So couple of things here, Jeff. As you finish with your rumors, okay? We have Mossman now joining here.
I just sent him a link. The link didn't work for him, or he didn't get it for some reason.
Oh, he is in. Look, he's there.
There he is. He's in the blue room tonight. He's feeling blue.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Excellent.
Oh, let me get out. I'm trying to get rid of that.
Yeah, they go back here. They say hello to Tim here. Hey, Tim. Nice to see you, brother.
Hey, fellas, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You're good. Yeah. So let's get on with it here with the show. So let me Let me go back and make this bigger. Okay. So a couple of things in YouTube that I picked up that I think would be interesting for many of. Oops, again I pressed the wrong one on the wrong screen. So I mentioned at the beginning this YouTuber Dwayne Patton, the Australian as well, and in his one of his videos, latest videos, he made probably the best explanation of a couple of things, right? For all of us aspiring bird photographers, right? It had to do with lens selection for different bird sizes, but more important, I never seen somebody explain it so succinctly, is how big the image has to be in the frame for the image to work, correct? Because sometimes if it's too small, it will not work uh, for the for the photo, correct? You cannot. There is a limit even with a 45 or a 60 megapixel camera how much you can crop. So in this video, he goes and explain if you're shooting with a bird that is at this distance with a 600 millimeter or a 400 millimeter. This is the amount of the frame, the amount of the megapixels that you should have in your photo so that you preserve a level of details in the camera. So this is one YouTube that I video that I recommend. The other one, and actually, Tim, I think we commented with, I think it was the first astrophotography uh, 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 presentation that was made a few months ago, correct? That the photo pill is a great it's a great software, correct? That you can have in your phone, almost an essential software, but it doesn't have that easy interface. Well, the photopill guys, which I actually that developed this, uh, which I actually find out they are from Spain, right? They actually this guy Rafael who do the YouTube for them, living in the island of Mallorca, correct? He explained both in English videos and in Spanish video, correct? How to take advantage of photopill because it's a complicated program as well, correct? All the options that I have. So in this particular recent installment from the photopill YouTube channel, correct? It's about an hour and a bit. It goes into it's almost like photofill for beginners. So that's what I bought it here because it's a good resource and a video to watch if you want to do those shoots in which you align the moon with let's say with a prominent part of the landscape like a lighthouse. So I do recommend that one. And finally, here is one of the this I think it was published today. Steve Perry talking about how to hold your photos, correct? Which is always a big task, correct? Now he obviously focused on calling photos in Lightroom, which I don't do anymore. But some of the stuff that he is playing and the rationale behind apply to whatever software you use. So again, these are three YouTube uh, videos that I think is worthwhile taking some attention. All right, so
Yeah, you can never go wrong with the stuff that Steve puts out.
no,
Yep.
and for the videos, Jeff, these guys in Spain, being the software is incredible, right? But the fact that they are putting videos to explain how to use the software, certainly for us, the novice on that type of photography, it is very good, right? So upcoming. So Jeff, we're coming closer to the end here, but upcoming. So this is what we have in the pipeline, right? So that you can see, and we just made a recruit here for Joy. So these are the calendars you can see here. So we are going to have um, our upcoming image review on December 6th. So start sending your photos to Jeff, right? And then on the 20th, we're going to have David. Uh, Explaining and encouraging us to do some aurora photography, and for sure we're going to learn quite a bit from David on that one. On that general meeting on December 20, that's the one that I also want you to start thinking about making your forecast or your prediction or your wishes of what you want to see from the industry, and particularly for Nikon. Since a lot of us are Nikon users, what do you want to see coming up? Then in January, we will have our January 3rd image review. And you can see we already have a world premiere on January 14. And the interesting thing about that meeting is it's going to be on a Wednesday, because we want to have a better time zone and a day that is basically going back to Chuck Wednesday meeting. That doesn't mean that we're going to move the show permanently to that
No,
day.
it's a one-time deal for now.
Or if we have other people from Europe presenting in
Right.
the future, we will accommodate by having this other alternative day on our general meeting, correct? In order to capture our bigger audience and also make it easy for some of our friends like Martin and Paul Scorazzi and Luis, correct? They are very kind of being here, but we put them, put them to work at very odd hours, right? So January 14 will be a Wednesday. We will remind you for sure on the January 3rd. And for that one, we have. Then, of course, we have some open spaces here for February and March. Hopefully, Joey will take some of either the February 21st or the March 21st time slot. Then, so this is the thumbnail for David Stewart coming on December 20, correct? And David has produced this very unusual photo of the aurora combined with the Milky Way, correct? Taking basically the whole sky in one single image, correct? So that's coming on December 20, and I'm sure we will suggest some additional. Now that we have taken some aurora photos, so additional suggestion for David to things that we want to cover, like how to process, what kind of white balance did you use, or after you shoot it in raw, and preserving some of the colors, etc., etc. Correct. So December 20 for that one. Then we had that January 14 on the world premiere and the mysterious event that we have. And Mr. Neville has already created a teaser for that one, which probably saw. And I think you published it that this week, correct?
Yeah.
And basically, our friend Sanjay later will do that one. And then, of course, Sanjay already sent us this new thumbnail for that teaser called The Monster. Now, we don't know anything. He has not given us any hint of what's it going to go up to be around, but this is for us to find out on Wednesday, January the 14th. So that's basically what we have. So again, another reminder, if you have a few topics or you want to participate, let us know. And I think Mike Dries can tell you how easy it is to work with me and Jeff on future presentations. Then the December image review is coming, so we are 2 weeks away from that one. So that will be Saturday, December 6th. Correct? Please do send the photos to Jeff at selectedimagery1 gmail.com, and preferably he likes to have the photo as soon as possible because he doesn't want to be asking for photos and working hard the last couple of days before the show. Correct? So please do send them as soon as you can, and include some of the settings and brief description of your photos in your email to Jeff. So that's basically what I have, Jeff. So let's go here for our final conversation. Let me stop sharing, and if there is any questions or stuff, then we can continue as well. So now that we have Tim, he can tell us what he has been doing, and
yeah, let us know what you've been up to, Tim. You got some. I know you sent me a couple photos that were kind of interesting the other day.
What? Yeah, what did I send you? I don't even remember.
When you went on your
from
trip
Disney?
through work. Yeah, your
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah, I went to Disneyland on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to Disneyland in, I don't know, well over 10 years. So it's changed a lot. They have a cool new Star Wars section. And no, it was a good time. Took a few photos. Maybe I'll send some to Jeff to share. But I got this guy too. But
Okay, you see, I arrive.
go figure, it is raining here all weekend, so I'm not going to have an opportunity to use it. So
No, that's good. Hey, Roy, show Tim your small rig for the CR set up here.
nice. Yeah, we still can't get them here yet. I think they're shipping sometime this coming week.
Well, the ZR took 2 days, and the small rig took about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And the handle.
How do you like the rig?
It's not bad. It's a rig. I like to be able to hook things onto it. That's about it.
Yeah.
And I'll have a full size HDMI port now.
So Roy, that handle has a red button. Is that a functional button or not?
Yes,
Okay. And it connect to the camera to start the
it does.
recording?
You
Oh,
get
right.
4 cables for different cameras, different with it.
No, that's definitely the way to go. I actually put, cages or at least a L plated on my camera just because I bump the cameras all the time, so it gives them a little bit of protection as well, correct?
Well, it goes well with the 28 to 135 because it's a power zoom. Because that's a power zoom, it works on the ZR through the little switch.
Randall, that's the one that you want, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I got it though.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it right here.
The little
the rocker. The
little rocker. You can zoom with that. There's no anamorphic simulations in that camera though. And I don't like the little HDMI, and the trigger button's a bit too sensitive, but it's a nice camera.
But let me ask a question about this anamorphic. Of course, I never shot on that one, but if you have an anamorphic lens, correct?
Yes.
Which is all distorted, correct? And
yes.
Obviously, you can shoot with the distortion. It's only after that when you do your processing that you have to stretch it, correct?
That's right.
So
if the camera's designed for anamorphic lenses, it usually will give you a simulation on the back screen.
Okay,
but the ZR doesn't.
With an external monitor. So, but the firmware update should be coming. Who knows when? But Nikon said it will be coming.
Yeah,
it squeezes it down onto your normal frame.
Yeah,
because you expand it later.
When I read a little bit about these anamorphic lenses, not that this is not in my, in my area of expertise. One of the things that I find out, and Tim, you correct me because you probably have researched that as well, is that the way they did it originally, correct, for the CinemaScope, is that obviously it's a film, correct? So it's distorted in the film, and the films get cut, processed, put together, still distorted, and then it's only in the theaters when they will put in an anamorphic correction to the projector, correct? So I wish I don't know if Albert's here.
You can still get them. They're fairly cheap, those things.
Okay.
A couple $100.
But it was an incredible thing, correct? So you distort in one way and then you stretch it when you project it back.
Something I've not done much of, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I presume now with the cameras, is you just what is the factor? 1.6 on one direction, correct? And then it gets a stretch to the right amount.
1.6 is a good size. 2 is a bit too wide, and 1.3 is a bit too narrow.
Yeah. But the simulation. So what you want is that there is an anamorphic simulation on the software.
normally a camera that's designed for video has an anamorphic simulation built in.
Okay.
But the ZR doesn't have false color either.
But I presume, I mean, this is all software. Should be probably
Yeah, it's
easy.
all software.
Yeah.
Any benefit for still photography?
No, not really. Be fun though. I like doing strange things with cameras.
You can do a panel, Terry, and then get the same effect.
I saw some anamorphic lenses here and there, but I didn't know what they're doing, and I thought, okay, maybe it's
They're
only
mainly
for
for
video.
cine.
That's what I thought.
They're all cinema usually.
Mm.
A lot of them are for much smaller sensors as well.
Well, and Terry, for still photography, and you correct me, because basically the pixels in the camera, correct, are going to be the same, correct. So when you put an anamorphic lens and then correct for that, those pixels are going to be elongated in
Yes.
the plane of the camera, correct. So sometimes for certain things it creates some distortion in a still camera, correct. And I presume, Roy, I don't know whether you use it in your professional life, but I presume that certainly for CinemaScope, correct, you have to have your camera in a tripod and your panning had to be perfectly horizontal.
Yes. I haven't done that, sir. I've always been a stills photographer.
Yeah, but you can imagine with something that distorts the vertical and the horizontal, your panning has to be perfect, correct? You have to have your level tripod.
Yes.
Shooting
That's
up and
when that's one of the few times a fluid tripod comes useful.
exactly. So
Okay,
anyway,
guys,
so Jeff, you close the show.
close the show.
Yes,
Well,
unless
thank you.
unless Tim is going to try to bring topics so that we keep going and going and going.
I mean, I could if you want.
I'm not going to try to break Chuck's 7:30 a.m. in the morning record.
I think
Remember as well.
I got some other new gear too, and I think I may put together some videos. But since we're all on the stream, I don't know if anyone has any interest in. I got one of these, and I haven't tried these before. It's
The version 4. You have the version 4.
it's the OWC 1
Yeah.
terabyte.
Oh, that's
I
the
usually
version
don't.
4.
I usually don't stray from ProGrade and Delkin Black, but I couldn't get one, and I figured I'd try this for the ZR. So I also got this, which is Thunderbolt 5 reader. So I'm going to see what the throughput is of that card, and then of course I'm going to compare it to Delkin Black, some ProGrade cards I have, and some other cards, and then I wanted to compare it to some of these guys, just these little SSDs.
Yeah.
And then I picked up this guy, which is an external Thunderbolt 5 housing.
Okay.
And I want to compare this to the internal SSD of the Mac Studio. And I got one of these guys to put in there.
Yeah. That is what I think Jan Wagoner do nowadays, correct? They don't having any kind of the candies or the the Western Dynamic ones. He basically buy a case for the solid state SSD, and then you can have like that one that you have at 8 terabytes. So though I will be interested to see how well it worked for you, because apparently for him it worked like an internal hard drive.
Yeah, I that's what I expect. I expect the throughput to be no different than what's in my Mac Studio. And
Exactly.
the amount that Apple charges you for like an extra 4 terabytes, I think it's like $1,000. And that setup right there, you can get for half that. That enclosure is 200,
Yes.
and then the RAM is just 300. So
Yeah, I went on the OWC site and they're selling something that's the machine aluminum that you could put on top of your Mac Studio or underneath it, and I think a 4 terabyte SSD. version, and they're saying it has the same speed as the internal SSD in the Mac Studio, like you're saying, and their
Yeah.
4 terabyte size, I think, was $699, and they say you could use that instead of your internal, SSD drive on your computer, and you're going to have the same speed and a lot more storage than what you would want to, than you could get like on the inside your actual Mac Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here's something cool about this. Obviously, you have to open it up to put the SSD in, and it's got the 2 little screws there. You can see the other end has the foot, but they give you a little bag with a bunch of different rubber feet in it. Because I mean, if you guys have ever had rubber feet, they come off all the time. So it's going to be nice to have some extras.
Yeah, definitely.
Michael's taking off. Have a good one, Mike. Thanks a lot. I guess you're already gone, but we appreciate him coming on tonight.
And he did an excellent presentation.
Yes, he did.
Excellent.
Yeah, some of those
Tim's got a
shots were
hand-
fantastic.
Tim's got a handful of toys to play with.
I do actually.
Well,
And no time.
you got some lenses too.
Yeah, I did. I got a couple new lenses. I got the 35-1.8, and then I got a tilt shift. Well, it's actually just a tilt lens. TT Artisan lens. This guy right here.
Yeah, tell us if it is good.
I haven't had a chance to use it
Yeah,
yet, but
whenever.
I want to get out and use it. But that's not that expensive. I think it was a couple $100. I got the new Mac Studio and a new monitor, and yeah, went on a little spree.
He's surrounded by tech right now.
I always have been.
Yeah.
So that would be the M4, correct? The Mac Studio M4 or M5?
Yeah, the M4 Max.
Okay. Yeah, the incredible thing is that, Jeff and I use the M1, correct? That's still, considered several generations older. For what I do, it's still functioning perfectly well. I know in the future, I will need to change it. But when I wait until when I start to notice that it's a little bit sluggish, then I will change it. But otherwise, there is no need to change, correct?
Yeah, I priced out what I would get like in my brain today, and it would be like, $3,600. And I said, you know what? I don't need it yet. I'm fine with what I have right now. And maybe I could stretch out at least a couple more years. I'd be very happy if I could get 2 or 3 more years out of this before I have a need to even think about it. But we'll see, because how many more, one never knows how many more years you have that you're going to be going at the rate I'm going at. You know what I'm saying?
I got I finally changed the phone, so this is a new phone. It's good, but I don't do that much photography with my phone, but the camera of the phone is much better. Right?
You definitely got that Halloween theme going on. You got the orange jacket, the orange phone, the orange backpack.
Exactly.
He's planning for prison.
It's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
And an orange Jeep.
Actually, Gustavo just broke out of prison. We didn't want to tell anybody.
Actually, I wanted the blue, but I went actually to the store to get a iWatch for my wife, and then I asked them, "Hey, do you have any?" And said yes, but we only have the orange, which was supposed to be the one that was not difficult. I actually wanted the blue, but hey, I was heading to get it at one point, so I say, okay, let me get it. Like Jeff was saying, you never know, right? So you get it when you want.
Yeah.
and when you can. So anyway, that's good. That's good. I will do some more photography with that one and let you guys know.
But, I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys, because I always get heartburn from my wife, and she says I'm always useless on Sunday mornings. So I don't want to give her more of an excuse to say I'm even more useless than normal on Sunday mornings. But thank you all for coming on. Thank everybody in the chat for joining us and seeing that presentation and just talking shop a little bit. And like I said, you got David's presentation coming up next in December. And he reminded in the private chat that there are other astrophotography subject matters that potentially are going to get put together and discussed, but I don't know what the time frame is of those, where they fit into the schedule yet. But
I want to raise them with other topic, and definitely Deep Sky is the one, David, the one next. Right?
No, Deep Sky is going to be the very last. I think
Deep Sky is the one where David's going to lose everybody in the audience, and they're all going to go watch Oprah Winfrey.
I'm thinking about the first show of 2030.
Yeah. 29 or 30, maybe 29.
Yeah, if we rush it, we should be able to do it in 29, Terry. What do you think?
I don't think, man. I've stopped thinking.
Anyway.
But I'll say my good nights to everybody, and thanks for the participation as always. And we look forward to seeing everybody on the photo review. Get your photos into me as soon as reasonably possible. That would be appreciated. And thanks so much for the support. Thank you, Gustavo, and everybody for your support and your time. Get prepared for Thanksgiving. Everybody's got to get prepared for Thanksgiving. So I say my good nights, and we'll go around.
Good night to everybody. Thanks for everything, guys.
See you in a couple of weeks' time.
All righty. We're going to hang.